Welcome to the Main Event Podcast. Here's Carter Lewis, Steve McCullum.
Afternoon, evening.
Back for
morning.
our NFL preview edition. Going to be looking at all 32 teams. Is that right, Steve? Jeez, 30-something teams.
My fingers don't go that high, Jason.
All right. But we have a full NFL preview for you. But before we get any of that stuff, do want to touch real quick on week one of college football, man. It was this past week, and a dark week for, I guess, me being in all orange at a local drinking establishment, seeing the debacle that my good old Tennessee Volunteers put on.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of it because I was drafting in my fantasy draft during all I was on, but judging by your reactions, all decked out in all orange, I might add. That has to be doubly embarrassing, isn't it?
Well, I was all decked out in the orange, right?
Shoes,
and then,
shirt.
Of course, afterwards, and after the dust had settled, I had about half my beer left. Everybody was leaving, so I'm finishing my beer, and the bar quickly became a LSU alumni watch party. So everybody was there in purple.
Yes.
And, yeah, so that was...
They even had an inflatable LSU doll there.
Yeah. So I was trying to ask if they had any shirts I could wear. Just like guys, I'll transfer right now. Let's do it. All right, Death Valley, baby. That's the place. Let's go. Nighttime at Death Valley.
Was their response? We don't accept losers on this team.
They just kind of laughed.
That was a brutal game. I watched the highlights later because, like I said, I didn't get to see a lot of it. So, what's your overall takeaway? Because I mean, last week I commented how Tennessee's defense is quite frankly decimated. But still, it's Georgia State.
Well, I told you last week, I said this would probably be one of those games where they're like up by 7 in the fourth quarter. And you're like, really, Tennessee, you should be beating this team 25-point favorites. And yeah, they didn't. And insult to injury, receiver Jordan Murphy and defensive back Terrell Bailey have decided they want to leave Tennessee's program after that last week. And I would have to imagine Jeremy Pruitt's going to be out the door at some point in the next 5 weeks.
So have they entered the transfer portal, whatever that is?
I guess it's the transfer portal. All I know is that they left the program, according to a Jeremy Pruitt today.
They withdrew from school and everything. Oh.
Well, I guess they didn't play Saturday.
Yeah.
And he said that Murphy was sick over the last week, so he didn't want Murphy to play.
So obviously that's wrong.
And then Murphy's Twitter account retweeted a tweet poking fun at how Georgia State upset Tennessee and how they received, $100,000 completing the game.
$997,000 or so, almost $1 million to go.
It's over half the salary that their head coach makes, by the way.
Isn't that awesome? That head coach, I mean, I'm sure he inspires to go to bigger schools in Georgia
But he's
State.
Everywhere this week. He is everywhere this week.
Oh, yeah. He was
insane.
He was on some couple national shows.
Yeah, he was on Rome, I think.
Yeah, Rome, yeah. That's where it was. I was listening. Don't ask me why, but I had Rome on, and he was on Rome. And but how awesome is that no matter whatever else Georgia State does this year, I mean, that coach everybody's got to love him because his salary is paid for the year. Probably most of his coaching staff is paid for the year. And they have national recognition now because where's Georgia State even at?
Well, they're in Georgia. And you know what? Here's another thing. We don't know if Georgia State's really that good. They could be really good, man. I mean, you never know. They could be a playoff team this year.
They're a Division II school.
Well, they could win the Division II playoffs.
Well, that's kind of what I was going towards was because we're in the 15-year anniversary of Appalachian State beating Michigan.
They didn't get to play at Georgia, so they wanted to go to Georgia State.
Yeah, right.
They're going to duke it out the end of the year. It's a good game off campus.
Did Appalachian State win the championship that year in Division II?
I think they did.
I believe they did.
I think they won for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I didn't look it up, but I'm assuming. But my point in that is if you go in and beat Michigan as Appalachian State, you better win your championship.
Oh, yeah, you better not go 1-9.
Yeah. So Georgia State.
And if you're Tennessee, you don't want them to go 1-9. You want them to beat the rest of their opponents like 80-0. So.
Yeah. So Georgia State pressure's on you because I expect you to win the playoffs because they have playoffs in Division II, whatever it is, subterranean division or whatever they call it nowadays on there. But I mean, that was one. That was bad for you. And I would recommend not decking out in all orange, including your shoes.
Yeah, just getting ready
because-
for March. We're basketball school there in Tennessee, so getting ready for March.
I heard you saying that yesterday. And
Yeah.
Made me giggle. So other games that we picked last week was Notre Dame, Louisville. Did you catch any of that one?
I did catch the majority of that one until the fourth quarter, and I was like, well, this game's getting out of hand now, so
Yeah.
I'm just going to go take a shower.
Man, Louisville looked really Louisville. However you say it. Louisville. However you say it so they don't get mad at you.
They'll come at you.
Looked really good in the first half. In the first quarter and a half, I was like, man, they got a fighting chance here.
Yeah, they looked really good, I thought. I was like, all right, here you go.
And then
Welcome, Cardinals.
Notre Dame decided to start playing or something. I don't know. So
Man, those helmets that they wore were so nice, though.
which ones?
The Cardinals.
Yeah, the
Louisville.
black with the red. I like that.
Come on, Arizona Cardinals. Do
I like
something
that.
I've been
well,
clamoring for a black Cardinals helmet for a while.
The problem with the NFL is you can't change helmets. You have to keep the same
I know,
helmet
just
all
get rid of the
year.
white. Go black.
No.
Once you go black, you never go back.
No, I agree with you. That looked really sharp, and they looked. I mean, the problem with Louisville is they've struggled the last several years. They're doing a culture change, new coach, all that stuff. But they look pretty good. They're going to do well in
Yeah,
whatever.
they got out the gate
conference
hot,
they're
which is
in.
what you want to do with a new head coach, especially playing a team that comes in number 9 that was a playoff team last year. So I think, by all accounts, I mean, it wasn't a win, but it was a successful day for them.
Wait, Notre Dame was a playoff game last year?
Yeah.
Playoff team?
According to what they said on the broadcast, I was like,
Oh.
yeah, I guess they did get blown out.
My
15-0.
my point on that is I don't know if that's true or not because I don't remember. But my point is this is why nobody likes Notre Dame except for Notre Dame fans because
Well,
they get to the playoffs
I
and
know
then
of
they get
3,
blown out.
Clemson, Bama, Oklahoma. Those are the only ones I cared about. So I'm guessing Notre Dame was the other one. According to that's what
They said on the
ESPN said.
broadcast. I had it on, but I wasn't listening to the broadcast. I had it on, but I wasn't paying attention. I was just watching the plays. So you actually went with Louisville on that one. You went with the upset. I went with Notre Dame. Of course, Oklahoma, Houston was another one that we picked. We both picked Oklahoma, but Jalen Hurts, first game in Oklahoma. What do you think?
I forgot what Jalen Hurts looks like. Has
He
he always
cut-
been that clean cut?
No, he cut his hair and everything.
Yeah, he looked pretty good.
I
mean,
didn't
in
even
the helmet on the field, and then also
I
without
didn't
it.
even recognize him.
Oh, I
Like,
didn't either. I was like, is that really
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts? Like, what
Yeah.
is this? I thought they were trying to be like
So, going-
90s WWE where they sit like the fake guy in there.
Yeah, going into the game, this is why you give him the Heisman now. Not only that performance, what was it, 900 touchdowns or something ridiculous?
Something ridiculous.
6 touchdowns. Huge game for him. But before the game, to get his team hyped up, he squatted 600 pounds.
Beast.
Stud muffin. And so, I mean, Oklahoma, now granted it was Houston, they're rebuilding, they have a lot of issues. Yeah, your Texas pick in the playoffs. If I were you, I'd be worried about that right now.
Still
'cause-
looking good. Texas has LSU this week. We'll pick that game later,
Yep.
but we'll see.
And then finally, Oregon Auburn, my game of the weekend by far. We both picked Oregon. Before the show here, you were talking about maybe a Pac-12 bias, but Oregon should have won that game. But heck of a performance by a true freshman for Auburn. They were in field goal range. Auburn went, screw it, let's get the touchdown. Lobs a beautiful pass, end zone, game over. Oregon loses, Auburn wins it. Whatever.
Hey, you got to do it in those games against those ranked teams early.
I'm okay. Like I said, I'm okay with Oregon losing that game the way they lost it because that was a heck of a finish in both teams. I mean,
Right.
Oregon's defense, which is going to be Oregon's suspect, is going to be their defense. But so everybody, it's funny because SEC, everybody on the SEC is like, oh my God, our best team. Auburn won. They start making Alabama dominated, LSU dominated, and it's funny how the SEC always talks about their top 4 teams, and then they promptly leave off Tennessee,
Well, it used to
Texas
be
A&M.
It used to be top 11 teams. Now it's about 4 teams that won last week. I don't know. We got A&M that won, Alabama, Auburn,
They had some bad losses.
LSU. Yeah, the Ole Miss took
Ole
one
Miss
on the
took,
chin,
to a bad team. I don't remember who it was.
Yeah.
So, but it just cracks
The
me up.
rain's over. The rain is over.
It just cracks me up how literally I saw SEC people on Twitter crying to like national guys like Paul Feinbaum and other guys saying, "Why are you guys digging on the SEC? Our top 4, our playoff teams are still in it." And they're like, "But and they're like, if that was the Pac-12, if the Pac-12 walked in and lost to Georgia State, like I think Paul Feinbaum, it might have been somebody else, literally said, if the Pac-12 team lost to Georgia State, all the SEC people would be talking about how the Pac-12 needs to be disbanded and thrown out of the league." So it was pretty funny to watch that discourse this week on there.
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed if Tennessee wanted to go Big 12, I guess, now. Maybe
Oh, the money.
ACC, let's do what we got to do. I don't know.
They can't walk away from that money. That's why A&M
we
wanted
can
to
go finish 2 to Clemson for
That's
a few
why.
years.
That's why A&M wanted to go from better than middle of the pack in the Big 12 to go to the SEC.
Well, not only that, they also were getting tired of Longhorns getting
Well,
everything.
you got that politics
anything.
side there. So, yeah, but I mean, more money in the SEC by a long shot there. So that was what we did last week. College football. I went 2-2. You went 1-3. Congratulations.
1-3. So you're up on me right now. But
I am, and
we got a whole week of picks this week. All right.
yeah. So and we're gonna keep our college picks separate from our NFL picks because that way my math doesn't get too high. Plus, they're 2 separate games, so this year we're going to keep them separate. So, who do we got this week?
This week, the games that we are picking the LSU and well, first I guess we have to pick our teams.
Yeah, I was going to say start with the
usual.
lower.
We'll
Start with the lower
our teams.
stuff.
Are you worried that Sacramento State demolished their opponent last week,
Oh my God!
84-17?
What is that? Southwest Oregon? They're not even an NCAA school. They're an NIAI school. What is?
Is that a high school? Like,
yeah, they're not even an NCAA.
Really?
They're not even sanctioned by the NCAA.
I did not know that.
Yeah, because everybody was like, "Where the heck is Southwest Oregon at?" And so you look into it. Yeah, they're not even an NCAA school. How do you play? I get Sacramento State. They're Division II still, right? I haven't even looked. They were Division II before. I don't know if they've moved up or not, but their lower thing. No, ASU's gonna. I mean, if you're gonna beat Fresno State, you're beating Sacramento State, and it should be by more.
Yeah,
but
they let high school kids get 19. They're from the Big Sky. They're in the Big Sky Conference.
Okay, so they did move up in the last few years then. So, yeah, I mean, just talent-wise, they're no better than Kent State or anything like that, I'm sure. But you want to see growth from your – I mean, ASU started the most true freshmen last week, I think, in NCAA history. Or true freshmen played.
And their quarterback got freshman of the week.
Did he? I didn't even see that. I just saw the punter. I didn't look at the other stuff.
Yeah, the punter, he got the special teams player of the week. So
my favorite thing is who's the quarterback for Clemson? Lawrence. My favorite thing is he's kind of struggled last week. So all these schools, and ASU was one of them, puts their quarterback stats up against his stats, and when their stats were better than his, it was pretty funny to watch. Like 7 schools do that, so on there. But I'm obviously going ASU Friday night. Who do you got?
Yeah, ASU should make quick work of Sacramento State. I'm hoping. They let Kent State hang around a little bit last week, but I think they'll get it cleaned up this week, and they'll be up at least by 40, I think, going into half.
40 at half?
Yeah, 40. Give me 42.
It's hard to do, man.
42-3 at half.
Wow.
They're going to just come out and just rake.
It'll be closer by closer, it might be 27-7, 27-3 or something. But yeah, it's going to be like last week, where even if it's close going into halftime, you're never going to feel like Sacramento State's going to pull this out, type of deal. So that's what we're looking at Friday night. Both got that one. All right.
And then Tennessee, they're hosting BYU this week. I'm not expecting a win here either. I really am not. BYU. They look pretty decent last week. Utah's defense really ran away with the game.
One of the best in the country.
Yeah, one of the best in the country. Not just in the Pac-12, but they ran away with the game last week. So I kind of think BYU goes into Tennessee, and this could be the week Jeremy Pruitt gets fired.
I went back and forth on this one because BYU stayed into that Utah game. Now that was a rivalry game, so they're hyped up, everything like that. Tennessee just had the worst performance ever, right? So they're going to come. They quote should come in fired up this week and everything.
I think they should, but it's like I don't trust this team.
I
have no expectations. I'm just looking for mediocrity out of my college football program. And maybe the Chick-fil-A bowl. That's all I want in life.
I think the team has quit on their coach already after that loss. I think they've even quit on him even more. So no, I'm going on a flyer on this one also, and I'm going with BYU.
And then we have a couple of top 25 matchups. I guess first let's start out Texas A&M going to Clemson to take on number 1 ranked Clemson Tigers.
Yeah, I mean, how do you go against Clemson? At home, you have to go Clemson. The Tigers at home. I have a hard time saying Clemson.
The Tigers at home, Clemson?
Yes.
Clemson. So, by the way, they did beat Notre Dame 38-3 or something last year in the playoffs.
Yeah, so my point in that whole thing is you never know Notre Dame's there because they get blown out.
Exactly.
And they're gone right away, and it's a waste of time. So, yeah, I'm going to go Tigers on this one. Second game, but just being at home. A second game, Lawrence had kind of a bad game last week. So, I mean, for his standards, for a Heisman hopeful, second year coming out. I think he struggled a little last week. I think they're going to turn it around this week, and the Tigers will win this convincingly.
Convincingly. So the spread right now is 17.5. Clemson being the favorites. Do you think they cover that?
I think they cover it.
See, I have A&M covering, not winning, but I think they at least do cover. Clemson, though, winning at home. They are the defending champs. You got to be the man, you got to beat the man. I don't see anybody beating the man right now, so I think Clemson wins that game. Another game that's got some pretty big playoff implications, I guess, early on. LSU versus Texas. Man, why do we have plans this Saturday night? We can get tickets for as low as $10.
Seriously?
$10 in Austin.
That's like, but those are going to be the upper bowl, like in the corner, right?
I'm looking. Let's see. 2 tickets. Champions Club.
Because
General admission.
My plans can change. I have somebody that does stuff for me.
We can go champion. I don't know where the Champions Club's at, but
Well,
it's GA there. So
I wouldn't go to this game, Jason, because I think LSU is going to dominate this game, and it's not even going to be close.
Really?
I think the score may be close, but I just don't think at any point in time you're going to think Texas is going to pull this game out.
Well, I picked Texas being one of my playoff teams. I ain't going to go away from them right now. My UT, they might have failed me last week. This UT, man, hook 'em horns, baby. Let's go. Are they getting? Who's getting the game day this week?
I don't even know.
Game day game right there, huh?
Don't they announce it?
They usually announce it like the week of, so I'll look at that and see who's getting college game day.
Well, unless they go to South Carolina, that's the game of the weekend, Texas LSU. Like you said, playoff implications. Loser of this one's in a lot of trouble for the playoffs on there. But, I mean, just now, granted, I didn't watch Texas last week, but I did watch LSU, and, man, they looked good.
Texas looked good again in their warm-up, too.
The difference is LSU has looked so stagnant the last several years with Les Miles or whatever the coach was, and it's like now they're actually opening up their offense now. It's no longer just hand the ball off every time and then do a dump pattern out there. Like they just open it up beyond belief. So this is an exciting game right here,
and it is the college game day game of the week. So they'll be on location Saturday in Austin, Texas. So looking forward to the signs. Did you have a favorite sign from this past week?
One of them, I don't remember all of them now, but one of them was behind Tebow. It had Tebow bats 146 in AA or something like that right behind him.
Sad. I like the guy who was like, "Hey, call me for the after party deets." I was like, I kept trying to get it because I wanted to call the guy and be like, "Yo, man, what's up with this after party? what we got going on, man?"
That's right. I forgot about that.
And then, of course, all the commercials that have been going on throughout the world since we last had a college game day. Now people can finally say that Nick Saban burned down their she shed.
Yes.
So that's good for them. good for them.
That was a common one.
I'll let them get those jokes out of the way now.
But yeah, it's going to get old quickly, right? But that's one of the best follows ever on Twitter is getting the best game day signs and everything on that. It's real time too. If you're following it while it's going on, somebody will.
I mean, even college game day now will actually go out and look at signs, and they'll tweet out signs. And then I think Busted Covers, they do their signs of the week and everything, too.
I saw the Tim Tebow one. It was either from college game day or they were laughing about it on the broadcast. I can't remember.
Oh, man, that's not right.
Because it was right behind it. It was so awesome.
I was on college game day once.
Yes, you were.
One of those marks about my signs. So.
Again, wearing all orange.
Yes. Well, that day Tennessee won.
And in Tucson, no less. For a University of Arizona, what is it, Oregon?
Hey, if that Washington State Cougar flag can go to every game day for the last 20 years, I could show up one time when they're 2 hours away.
That was my favorite.
And that was the week, actually, the flag got lost.
Yeah, they had
and the police escort actually came rolling down.
FedExed it.
So I'm thinking, oh, man, check it out. There's the boys. There's Kurt. There's Lee. They're the boys right there in the car. No, it's the damn flag. Police escorting the flag, man. Like
that was the first thing I saw on Saturday morning when I woke up and started doing stuff was, I think it was online somewhere, was Washington State, whatever, 20th year in a row or whatever year it is. It was like the headline or whatever I saw first thing on Saturday. So. And
then they were there. They were actually inside the building in Clemson last Thursday for game day, too.
Inside the building.
They did an in-stadium game day for an hour, so they were there, too. It's like,
I think at this point...
Quick turnaround for the flag.
I feel, they did a big story on that. They literally FedExed it to alumni. But you think at this point... College game day. Why don't you just give it to a game day person? Like, right? It's such a staple, and they make such an exception for it.
Well, I guess there's alumni everywhere, though.
Yeah, of course there is.
It's one of those things. Like, let's go. We'll go to college game day.
That story last year, they went someplace
I'm trying to figure out where they get the flagpoles at. Like, how do all these guys have that big giant ass PVC pipe to put the flag on?
FedEx it. It comes
they
apart.
FedEx the pipe too, or do they just FedEx?
Yeah, it comes apart. You should have watched that ESPN story a couple years ago.
I saw the story in the flag. I don't remember seeing the pole.
Speaking of Washington State, man, Mike Leach last week dominated
the headlines.
Well, and and his team score.
I like Washington State.
Mm-hmm. Anyway,
Pac-12 title game.
so that's college
Let's do
football
it.
for this week. Let us know what your teams are, and we can start picking your guys' teams too.
Don't come at us if you're William and Mary.
Yeah, well, you
your
know what?
football pick.
Dude, we can do a little William and Mary guessing right there.
Well, they're
Yeah.
playing Virginia this week. Who you got?
Oh, Virginia.
All right, cool. But no, shout out to Arizona boy, Desert Mountain, true freshman, getting the nod over at USC since their quarterback went down, which sucks for them.
Huge news for.
Now you're totally,
I was not crushed.
yeah, now you're crushed about that one. So.
Well, I mean, anytime. Well, he's a true freshman for one, and then anytime a USC quarterback goes down, you don't shed a tear on that in the Pac-12. But I mean, that's just always a bad thing to see. I mean, and it was kind of a throwaway game. Nothing was going on in it, so it was kind of bad to see.
And definitely put their coach up on the hot seat here early.
He was on the hot seat already.
So let's get into some NFL previewing, my man. We have a lot of teams, 32 teams to get into here. And what do you want to start with? AFC East? Is that what we decided?
Yeah.
The pre-game, pre-show coin flip. So
Yes.
we got the AFC
Yeah,
East. Of course, last year, the Super Bowl champion, New England Patriots, are in that division. They were your division champs, followed by the Dolphins at 7-9, the Bills at 6-10, and the Jets at 4-12. Let's kick it off with the Pats. I don't think there's going to be much drop-off, Steve. 42 years old, Tom Brady, he is still going strong. Unless you break his leg, like we saw, 11, 12 years ago. The man is not going to go anywhere. He is obsessed with being in shape. He's obsessed with playing football. This is his life, his livelihood. You always think every year after he wins the Super Bowl, he doesn't need it anymore, but he wants it. So I think, Tom Brady and Patriots, by far, my pick. I'm just going to go ahead and throw you that pick right out the gate. That's my pick to win the AFC East.
I mean, even if he gets hurt, your only other option in that division is to go with the Jets, which you can't even trust the Jets at this point, right? Even with Le'Veon Bell and all their new additions this year. That's going to be their closest competition. But now, Patriots are running away with this division. I think the Jets are going to struggle, even with Le'Veon Bell in there, just because second-year quarterback, new system. Adam Gase has not been a good I know the Dolphins are a bleep show, but he just hasn't proven himself at all yet. So they're going to struggle early on the season. I mean, Patriots are running away with this division. It's not even going to be pretty.
Yeah, but the thing I like about Gase, though, he has kind of been a quarterback whisperer.
Has he?
When he was with the Bears, he was, at least.
Oh, great. How do you do in Miami?
So I think, him and Sam Darnold, like you said, it was a bleep show. They gave him crap to work with. But I think, Darnold's going to flourish under Gase. I think they're going to be a little bit better. I believe the Jets and the Bills will both be better. The main thing for the Jets, though, is getting through that early part of the schedule, because 5 of their first 6 games, you got Cleveland, you got New England twice right out of the gate, Philadelphia and Dallas. After that part, seems to open a little bit. If you can go 3-3, those first 6 games, who knows? You could be looking at maybe wild card spot and
who are they beating?
Who
are they? What 3 are they winning of that schedule?
I'm not going to pick that. I'm just saying if they can go 3-3.
That's the problem is they're going to start the season off. Let's say they win 2 out of that, right? They're 2 in 4. That's a horrible start. You're just going to go downhill from there. I mean, that's a confidence. You have to start. I'm a firm believer, and there's a reason why guys that start 0-3 never make the playoffs, or rarely do, is because it's a complete confidence thing, and that's the Jets' problem this year. But the Patriots, they've proven it before. Even if Tom Brady does go down, they have somebody in there, which I don't even know now since they cut Hoyer. And I'm still willing to say that it'll still be a serviceable offense, and they're still going to be all right with that division.
Yeah, the only thing right now hurting the Patriots is obviously the depth at tight end, and also offensive tackle. They kind of have some hurt guys going in there on the O-line. So, I mean, keeping Tom Brady healthy is going to be a work of art, I guess, this year.
He unloads the ball so fast, I don't think it matters.
Yeah, we'll see. But 6 games against their division opponents, plus you get Steelers, Cowboys, and Chiefs at home. They have a pretty easy slate when it comes to home games. And I think the Bills are going to be a little bit better this year. Obviously, last year they were pretty young. This year they went out and got some veteran-type guys. And, of course, this is the second year of the development of Josh Allen, so we'll see how he looks like. He looked a little bit better in preseason, I think. And then you got the Dolphins. They've already said, hey, we're tanking. They just got rid of, Laramie Tunsil, their first-round pick from a few years ago.
Not just that, but one of the best offensive linemen in the league.
They're going with Ryan Fitzpatrick, who isn't going to have that much magic this year.
The more I read about that is they chose him over Rosen because they don't want Rosen to go out there. Their first 3 or 4 games are pretty rough, so they didn't want Rosen to go out there and struggle, for the rest of the season. Because I agree with that. It's hard to go from Rosen to Fitzpatrick. It's easy to go from Fitzpatrick to Rosen. So, but yeah, I mean, Dolphins, they have something ridiculous. I don't have it in front of me, but the picks they have for next year, they have like 3 times the amount of picks as anybody else in the league. And a lot of them are top 3 round picks.
Yeah, it's going to be
into
good,
next year.
especially when they go out and get Tua number 1.
Tank for Tua.
Take for Tua, baby. Let's go. So your pick to win? Patriots
New
7?
England. Yes,
All right.
by far.
AFC North. Last year, the Ravens were the AFC North champions. Steelers finished second, 9-6-1. Did not make the playoffs. The Browns 7-8-1 as well, with the Bengals 6-10. Ravens. A lot of people are high on them. I guess we'll start out with them since they won the division last year. I'm not as high on the Ravens because I feel like you need to see Lamar Jackson pass from the pocket. Like, that is the name of the game in the NFL. Everything lies on that defense, but until Lamar Jackson can prove to me that he can pass in the pocket and complete a high percentage of his passes, I don't see the Ravens winning the division again this year.
Yeah, I don't see as many people high on the Ravens as you do, obviously, because I don't think a lot of people are high on them this year, partly because the Browns are expected to do
Right.
so well.
The hype train's up high on the Browns.
This was a tough division for me to decide on, partly because I am a Ravens fan, been one for forever, it seems like, there. But yeah, I don't think that a lot of people are up on the Ravens, but a lot of that is they're ready to strike and they're ready to make that step forward just because they're being ignored this year because of the Browns.
I mean, they added Earl Thomas this year.
Yeah.
And but they did do a big talent dump as well last year. They lost 4 defensive starters.
They lost Hall of Fame linebacker and Terrell Suggs. You know, gosh, I mean, a lot of talent. They have no receivers still, which has always been the Ravens' problem.
Right.
So no, it's going to be a tough one there. Who do you got for winning this division if you're not going to go with the Ravens?
Well, I'm on the hype train, man. So I mean, I like the Browns. The heart and soul of that Browns is Baker Mayfield
To win that division.
to win the division. I mean, what 10-6 got it done last year? Baker came in and went third in that division, 7-8-1. I'm on it. I'm on the hype train. Give me the
So
Browns.
I did an average of like Sporting News, ESPN, a lot of other NFL.com, a lot of other guys and whatnot. The average wins that experts, quote unquote, have for the Browns is 11.
11-5.
The average.
That gets it done this year.
Yeah, I mean, they'll win the division if they do that.
Yeah, 11-5. I think that's going to capture the NFC North. I mean, Steelers. I mean, it could definitely be higher for the Browns, but I mean, the fan base.
Okay.
They're going to be hyped. They're going to be excited for everything. The big thing that's going to be,
The factor of sadness is going to go away.
I think the factor of sadness goes away. Well, it's going to get sad because those 5 losses are going to be some tough losses to swallow because it's going to rely on that rookie kicker, Austin Siebert, and that might not be a good thing when you need a rookie to smash a 47-yard field goal to win a game.
There are so many questions with the Browns that I have that I don't understand why everybody's so big on the hype wagon. We can just start with Odell Beckham. The guy's a cancer.
But the guy's good.
Great. Second, Baker Mayfield doesn't hit him and throws it to, Landry or whoever else they have there now. He's going to throw a fit. He's going to go marry a kicking net or something. And their coaching staff is brand new. Freddie Kitchens has never been an offensive coordinator or anything high up, and he was chosen for this spot because Baker Mayfield said, he's my guy. So, huge question marks for the Browns this year going into it. Besides the chemistry on the team, they've never won. Even OBJ hasn't even won. People are like, he's going to be a leader. How? He wasn't a leader on bad teams. You think he's going to lead on a good team? Baker Mayfield opens his mouth too much.
He's a leader, though.
Him and Odell are going to go at it at some point on the sideline. It's going to be great to watch.
I can't wait.
And that's my hesitation with the Browns is you don't generally wake up one day in the NFL and start winning and be successful at winning.
Well, it's kind of what happened to him last year.
After a coaching change with momentum.
And after a quarterback change. As soon as they switched over to Baker, that Thursday night game, they came back and they won.
Now we have game film on Baker.
And there you go. But I think he has the it factor. The guy was incredible last year in the red zone.
And then,
you add Odell Beckham, but like you said, Baker Mayfield, he is a leader. And Baker Mayfield, he has gotten into Odell's ass this preseason. I think Baker is just what Odell needs to find that passion for football again.
So you won't listen to a 2-time winning Super Bowl quarterback in Eli Manning, but you're going to listen to some punk that's in his second year.
Well, I feel like Eli
Baker
was
Mayfield?
probably just like looking at him like dumb face, like, "Hey Odell, could you
okay,
get
so
up and over there on the
so
route?"
you go with the character, a character of Eli Manning
Yeah, that's
instead of the
probably what it
actual
was.
one.
I mean, stereotypes
So,
are real, Steve.
I'm just-
Stereotypes are real.
I'm just throwing that out there. That okay, so Odell's like, I'm better than Eli. Well, Eli's got 2 things that you're trying to get and you don't have yet. So I'm just not buying onto the hype for those reasons there. Maybe they'll prove me wrong. The other side of it is the Steelers have been good the last couple years, and what's been their problem?
Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell.
Headaches, locker room problems, and more headaches. And guess what they're missing this year? Headaches, locker room problems, and headaches.
Well, the locker room problems are not too sure yet, but they are missing the headaches.
Well,
so.
two of the big locker room problems are gone.
But no, I think definitely this offseason, it's how Big Ben will. He's still the guy in Pittsburgh. Obviously, he's been the guy as much as some fans love him, some fans hate him for various reasons. I mean, we all kind of know the issues there, but I think he is the guy. He fits the Steel City, the Steelers, and all that stuff.
Hard, puts his nose to the ground, takes the hits.
Yeah, he gets hit. He breaks
whatever it's called.
stuff.
Blue collar worker.
Like the guy, he is what you want to be. Like if you're looking at your kid, like, Daddy, I want to be a football player. Here's your look. Look at Big Ben. Don't Google off field stuff.
Well,
but look at Big Ben on the field. Like the guy literally takes that licking and just keeps on ticking.
But he's also the guy that
phrase, John.
He's also the guy that gets a routine hit and then milks it for the next week and a half about how his ankle is tore up. And
you know what?
I can't walk. It's gonna have to be amputated.
Hey, do you want to be first on ESPN? You'll be first if you're limping around throwing touchdowns. All right.
Yeah. So I'm actually going with Pittsburgh in this division. I think they're gonna win it. Not handily, by 1 or 2 games, pretty easy. They're going to win the series matchup against the Browns like they always do. They rarely lose against them.
Well, they did tie one game last year.
On there, so that's who I'm going with. And you got, what, Cleveland?
Yeah, I got Cleveland. Mind the it factor. Those offensive tackles, that'll work itself out.
Okay.
Bengals, yeah, good luck.
Yeah, Bengals, don't even suit up, Bengals. It's going to be awful.
AJ Green's not suiting up, so watch the rest of the
I know when I drafted him in one of my fantasy leagues, hoping he would.
Well, how early did you get him?
It was late.
Oh,
it was
good.
later. He's like third or fourth receiver I drafted.
All right.
I know, but still, it's like, why? It's like drafting Melvin Gordon.
Why?
I know. So anyway, AFC South.
Yeah, last year the Texans won that division. The Colts, with Andrew Luck, got the wild card. Titans were 9-7, and the Jaguars with a big downfall, going from the AFC title game all the way to 5-11. Man, what do you like about the AFC South?
This is the hardest AFC division to handicap. Even harder than what we just talked about with Pittsburgh, Ravens, and Deal. Andrew Luck retires, but I'm a big Jacoby Brissett fan. I really am. He the year he went there and traded there, he looked good.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. Houston Texans, who knows what the Texans are doing right now? I mean, they just got rid of Clowney. I'll just say Clowney to Seattle. Basically gave him away and got a horrible, trade thing on that side. They did get Tunzel finally to help that offensive line on that deal with Deshaun Watson, because hopefully, but when your GM is also your head coach, who has proven to not be a good head coach, but somehow keeps his job all this time, it's just a disaster waiting to happen. And I think the Texans are taking a huge step back this year, and it's not even going to be. It's going to be ugly. And Bill O'Brien's going to be gone. If he's not gone and he saves it again, because now the owner's family is running the team.
He has some blackmail on him, I feel like,
since he died. Yeah, right. But then they'll rehire GM to do that route again. But the Texans, I think, are taking a huge step back. Titans are the Titans. They have quarterback issues, Mariota, but they also have the quarterback from the Dolphins that I can't remember his name right now as the backup. The one that everybody hated in Miami. That you guys can Google it. I literally just forgot his name, which tells you everything you need to know.
I wasn't trying to talk backups here, but
yeah, no. I'm just saying the Titans have quarterback issues. That's their problem. They're going to be toward the bottom. The question mark is Jacksonville Jaguars with new quarterback, receivers. Still a good defense. If the defense shows up or whatever, what are the Jaguars going to do? And I have seen several people say the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to win the wild card. What do you think?
So, looking at the Texans first, I would say they won the division last year. But last year, they had a super easy schedule against NFL quarterbacks. They played 9 backups or rookies last year. That's not the case this year. I think Deshaun Watson's a great quarterback. Getting Laremy Tunsil definitely shores up that O-line. And I think even without Clowney, that defense is great because the defense is centered around J.J. Watt. Be it healthy or even hurt, J.J. Watt is like that defense, whether he's on the field or not. The Colts, like I said, Andrew Luck, the odds went down. The odds were not in your favor after Andrew Luck retired. He should have known that most people leave Indianapolis in the middle of the night in a Mayflower. But hey, you know what? That's Andrew Luck. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how it's going to be with Jacoby Brissett. I think their O-line now is elite. They've added playmakers on defense in the draft the last couple of years. I wouldn't be shocked if 9-7 is what the Colts do this year. And I think 9-7 really is a good chance to win that division. The Jaguars, definitely a team that interests me because I think that defense is great and then can be elite again like they were 2 years ago. Last year, they lost 6 games by a touchdown or less, so the team was in it last year. They led a game against Steelers 16-0 at one point. So, I mean, Nick Foles, here's the thing with him. Are you going to get Rams average Nick Foles, or are you going to get Super Bowl MVP Nick Foles? And I think you're going to get middle-of-the-road average Nick Foles.
Okay, but is average Nick Foles better than what they had last year and the year before?
Than Blake Bortles?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say.
That's why this is so hard, is an average Nick Foles is better than what they had before, and their quarterback was their problem the last couple years.
See, that's the thing. You just don't know what Nick Foles' identity is because, like, I mean, we've had
I know.
middle-of-the-road Nick Foles, and we also had, oh, my God, this guy just went past the Patriots in the Super Bowl, Nick Foles. So it's one of those weird things. Then you look at the Tennessee Titans, it all relies on the health of Marcus Mariota. Finished 2 of the last 3 seasons on the sideline. He needs to be in there when the games matter. I don't think he can be there. I don't think he's that guy. He doesn't have that it factor to me. I mean, yeah, his first year, he looked pretty solid. But since then, it's just been injury after injury and injury. And we've seen it time and time again. When players start getting hurt, it's just a repeat. Rinse and repeat of being on the IR. So it all kind of sits on that. I think Mike Vrabel is making strides as a head coach over there. The defense is going to be good. But I feel like all 4 of these teams have a chance the last 2 weeks of the season to all have a shot at winning this. So if I had to pick, I'm going to lean Jaguars just because
To win the division?
Nick Foles does have the experience with big games and the Jaguars defense. So I'm picking Jaguars to win this AFC South.
Wow. I think the Colts are winning 10 or 11 games this year. They're going to shock everybody. Because, like you said, the only thing they're missing differently than before is Andrew Luck. Now, Andrew Luck and Brissett are not even the same stratosphere. No, but they're not even the same stratosphere, so don't get what I'm saying there. But the rest of that, before it was Andrew Luck had to do good for the Colts to do good. And now I feel it's the opposite. That team has got putting so much stuff together, which is one of the reasons why it's so sad to see Andrew Luck retire, is because he could have been great with this team. And Brissett will do enough to not cost the team everything. So I think the Colts are going to sneak in and win 10 or 11 games. Texas going way far back there. And we'll talk the wild cards here in a bit and see if the Jaguars sneak in a wild card pick for me or not.
So the AFC West, we have the Chiefs, won it last year, obviously went to the AFC title game and lost to the Patriots at home. They were 12-4 last year. The Chargers, another 12-4 team. They were your first wild card last year. Broncos 6-10. Our favorite football team after the last 5 weeks, the Raiders.
I can't stand the Raiders. Just for the record.
They went 4-12, but the hype train's on them now because of Hard Knocks, of course, because you get the Hard Knocks, I guess, push. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll go over our Hard Knocks finale here in a bit also on that. I have some observations of Hard Knocks that it's going to be that are kind of funny.
So starting off with the Chiefs this year, man. I mean, yeah, you talk about Patrick Mahomes, but let's talk about the Honey Badger. They got Tyrann Mathieu on that defense this year. Andy Reid was asked about defensive leaders in mid-June, and the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu's name was the first one to come out of his mouth. We've all seen here in Arizona what he can be. I think this is one of those rejuvenating situations for him. Last year he went with the Texans. The Chiefs obviously outbid him for the services. So I mean he was a wanted guy this past offseason. I think that's going to be huge for that defense. And then of course you got the defending MVP of the league, Patrick Mahomes. You still have your heavy hitters. I mean Tyreek Hill not getting suspended. He's going to be there. You just got LaShawn McCoy, who is an older running back, but still a running back who is very good. And, he's had some suspension issues, so legs are still kind of fresh.
I think he's going to have the breakout. He's going to be comeback player of the year.
Comeback player of the year? I like him. I don't know about comeback player of the year.
Well, that was sarcasm because he was in Buffalo and nobody knew he was there. But yeah, I think that is the best pickup that the Chiefs has had. Even if he's only a first down back for them, he will just give them so. He's basically Tyreek Hill, but older.
Yeah, I like it.
More wiser. So, yeah, I mean, you can't say enough. You can't say a lot of bad things about the Chiefs. They were literally an offsides play by the defensive lineman from going to the Super Bowl last year, and they would have won it if they went. They are just a dominating force. All they did, most teams in those positions will take a step back with players, and like you said, they've added to that defense, which was their weak point the last couple of years. The Chiefs are just a dominating force in this division.
Yeah,
definitely.
They were 15th last year in points allowed per game. If they can get under that, which they have a new defense coordinator in Steve Pagnuolo, I don't think there's going to be any catching up to do. I mean, they have the great offense. That defense, they've added better pieces to rush the passer and stop the pass. I wouldn't be shocked if we are looking at this Chiefs team with 2 weeks left saying, oh, wow, they're going to go undefeated.
Wow, calling that out, huh?
Calling it. Not saying it. I'm just saying I wouldn't be shocked.
So they play the Chargers twice. Who else do they have on their schedule? Now you've piqued my interest.
You got Chargers twice, you got the Raiders twice, and you got the Broncos twice.
There's a reason why I left the Broncos in the Raiders off of that.
We'll get them out of the way first here. So let me.
So I mean, yeah. So the Chargers have a good shot of beating them. It's a matchup problem for them, at least in LA. But yeah, I don't know what the rest of their schedule is. But you piqued my interest throwing that out on the dartboard.
So let's see here. Just let me see if I can find the full schedule, not just the first 5 games here. So kicking off the season, they're at Jacksonville. I think it's a win at Jacksonville.
Sure, for the Chiefs, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. At Raiders,
win.
Ravens come to KC, win. At Lions, win. Colts come to KC, Sunday Night Football. I think it's another win. Texans at Chiefs. I think that's dub.
My favorite part is of course you're going to pick everything at W.
Yeah, because I just said they're going undefeated. All right, well, no, look at the schedule. Let's see here. Chiefs at Patriots, December 8th. Obviously, that game right there is one to circle on.
That's what I was going to say.
The schedule.
I thought they had the Patriots this year, and I knew they had the Ravens.
And I think Chiefs at Bears.
I mean,
December is going to be a tough game as well.
But how late in December? Because they might not be playing.
That's 22nd of December.
Yeah, so they might not be playing. If it goes like you say, they might be benching people at that point.
Yeah, could be. But I think that's a tough game. Well, it's an NBC game, so I don't think they'll allow them to bench anybody. NFL will overrule.
I was dominating a fantasy football league one year, and with Drew Brees as my quarterback, 6-7 years ago. And then second to last game of the year, Sunday Night Football shows up. There's no way they're going to bench him, and they benched him. So that's what they do.
Because I think, look at the schedule. There's only 4 games here that would worry me if I'm a Chiefs fan about going undefeated, and that'd be the 2 games against the Chargers and the Bears and Patriots on the road.
Yeah, because the Ravens are at home, right?
Yeah, you get the Ravens are at home, you get the Colts are at home, you get the Texans are at home.
So yeah, I mean they're gonna, if they don't win 12, 13 games, I'd be shocked. That means something's gone wrong. Something's gone off the rails at that point. But yeah, just undefeated was just peak.
Undefeated, baby.
Even 15 games. Go. Even 15 games.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard. I'm not gonna say. I mean, this is no easy task. It's hard.
So when do they have the Patriots?
December 8th. So December's a tough stretch. You got the. What was it? You have the Chargers in December.
But that bigger thing on that is you're playing the Patriots December 8th, and then you could possibly meet them again in the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
Second round of the playoffs right off the bat, possibly.
Those last 6 games when it all comes down. You got a Monday nighter in. Oh my gosh, they actually have a Monday night game in the StubHub Arena. Woo. Chiefs and Chargers.
Well, that's why I knew that one was there too, because I think the Chargers can win that one. The Chargers are a matchup problem with the Chiefs. They have been for years, because Phillip Rivers holds on to the ball and can go on long drives and keep the ball out of an offense. So yeah, but I mean, I think we both agree that Chiefs are going to run away with this division, regardless if you think they're going undefeated or not.
So Chargers are the next in line. Like I said, I mean, I think they're going to be the biggest task. I definitely see the Chargers getting, having 11 wins this year. I don't think that's far-fetched for them to get this year. I mean, obviously it relies on Phillip Rivers. We've seen Melvin Gordon. The talk on that is they had trying to get a deal in place with him and the Eagles. The Chargers said, no, we're not taking Jordan Howard and a mid-round or mid-draft pick. So, F yourself, Melvin. You can just ride the pine all year long, hang out at home.
Well, he'll come back whatever week he has to come back to accrue service.
Was it week 12?
For the year. I was going to say 13, but
week 12, week 13.
It's something around there, yeah.
But I even think without him, there's no stopping him. Because Melvin Gordon last year, here's the thing about Melvin Gordon. He really doesn't have a leg to stand on in this contract negotiations, because last year he didn't have a great year. He wasn't great last year. Why are you going to try to make money when you weren't great? That's not how contract years work. If it was a baseball player contract year and you went out and you were known to hit 40 home runs a year, but your contract year, you hit 10 bombs, batted .230, 66 RBIs in a whole 160 games, you're not going to get paid the next year, bro.
I'm enjoying this analogy from a Cowboys fan right now.
I'm just saying.
With Zeke.
Zeke had a great year.
I'm just loving this analogy.
He always has great years.
The problem Melvin Gordon has is he's dealing with the Chargers, for one, because they're saying how average he is and how he doesn't deserve any more than 10. They're willing to pay him $10 million a year, but they're not budging for. They basically said $10 million a year or leave, and so he's, so Melvin Gordon should sit out now at this point. However, they don't need him because that offense goes through Phillip Rivers, not a running back there. But the bigger issue on that deal is that now the Chargers cannot say Melvin Gordon's an average quarterback and he's only worth $10 million and then ask for a first and fifth round pick for him, because that would That's what you would get for Zeke if the Cowboys were to trade the Zeke.
Right.
You would get a first and a fifth. So you can't say he's average and only worth $10 million and then say we're only accepting a first and a fifth, because you're saying two different things. You're saying he's average, and then you're saying he's one of the greatest running backs in the league. And that's why it's been mismanaged by the Chargers. As usual, not a shocker. He's going to come back late in this year whenever he has to go into crew thing, which I think is actually good for the Chargers because he'll be fresh, go in there, be able to play well for the rest of the game, and if they make the playoffs. So that's going to be great for the Chargers on that front, and then he's just going to get out of town.
Well, he's on the IR, so part of the do not report list.
Well,
so
it's not the IR. That's the whatever list.
Yeah, I don't know how all that works out when you can get them in. So
just so they can get the roster spot. Yeah. So on there, so the Chargers have that issue, but I don't think they're not. Melvin Gordon would be a really, really good running back on a team that used him.
Right.
But Phillip Rivers, they give Phillip Rivers 2 play calls. And then Phillip Rivers throws them both away and makes up his own play call and then calls what he wants,
Which was weird, though, because in 2017, when the Chargers went on that run there about, November, early December, when you thought, oh, wow, the Chargers could make the playoffs this year, they used Melvin Gordon a lot. That was his best year statistically.
Yeah.
Had over 1,100 rushing yards, 8 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns receiving. The guy was actually used, and last year it kind of went down to we're going to use you when we need you. I mean, yeah, he still had 10 touchdowns, but only 885 yards last year. And on under 100 less rushes.
He got injured last year, though, didn't he?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I want to say he missed some games last year, but
I know he's kind of always been hurt. So,
but like you said, they'd be better with him in the lineup, but they're not going to take such a far step backwards with him not in the lineup. So it's inconsequential. The question is the distraction. But if they're above water when he comes back and whatever week he has to report on there, and he comes back with a good attitude to dominate the league with fresh legs, watch out, man. I mean, they'd be stupid not to just feed him the ball all the time at that point on that. So
elsewhere in the division, you have the Broncos, who have Joe Flacco now.
And a new head coach, new offense.
Joe Flacco has been a below-average quarterback last few years.
Except for the playoffs.
We'll see how that goes. I'm not expecting big things on the Broncos. I don't think you are either.
No, they're going to win 4 or 5 games this year. For lots of reasons. That defense has taken multiple steps back the last few years with players leaving. Whole new coaching staff. You haven't heard of them before. Another one of those weird coaching staff hires that everybody's like, what? They're going to win 4 or 5 games in a rebuilding mode.
And then you look at the Raiders, of course, America's favorite team after HBO's Hard Knocks. Steve can't stand them now. Although
I've never liked the Raiders.
You know our John Gruden guy, right?
I love John Gruden.
Knock on wood if you're with me.
Oh, yeah. I've always loved John Gruden. Well, my hatred for the Raiders is their fans. Let's be honest about it. We need to fight because your guy
black and silver, baby.
Because your guy just fumbled the ball. Like, you want to fight me? Right? Really? Okay.
And I think the biggest thing this year, we obviously didn't see it during the preseason. I think it's Derek Carr's pocket present. His biggest weakness is the inability to play well under pressure. So I think if it comes, I think this team's better, improved overall from what they were last year. I'm not putting them in the playoffs by no means, but they are an improved team. But the guy panics when he hears footsteps, and he's going to be hearing the footsteps a couple of times in the first few weeks of the season because they're going to be playing on the dirt field for at least 2 games. The first couple of games.
And I hate that too.
The old warning track there on the dirt. Of course, this last year playing in Oakland. Last time we get a dirt infield for
ever
for football.
Well, unless there's a special
the Buccaneers
occasion.
have to go play in the Rays Stadium. I don't know.
There's a special occasion or whatever. But
and then they also have a lot of they don't play again at home until November.
Yes.
And a lot of those games 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Yes.
So that is going to be hurt.
They travel mileage more than any other team.
Right.
They play in more time zones than any other team. That's going to be a lot of traveling back and forth. That takes a wear on you. Here's the other thing that I don't know if people realize or not. One of the youngest teams in the league this year. Mm-hmm. All of their draft picks made the team, I think, except for one. A lot of their free agents are young guys. They got rid of a lot of veterans in there and everything. So that alone, the travel, there's a reason why it's hard to win on the road in the NFL. And now you got all these young guys in there. Antonio Brown's not the best leader on the planet, so we'll have to see how he reacts. But I think the Raiders are going to be lucky to win 3 or 4 games this year. Lucky. But they are on an uptick. So I know they're not going to show it on the team this year, but anytime you're a young team like that and growing up and doing that stuff. And then also Antonio Brown went to Instagram today and announced his $54,000 in fines.
He was not happy.
The Raiders gave him. And this is the problem with the Raiders is being such a young team. Antonio Brown's anger, I guess you could say, or divaness, whatever, is going to affect this team as the season goes on, especially when David Carr can't get the ball to him down the field because he's not running a 5-yard slant pattern. He's going to run those out curls and those 15, 20-yard passes. It's just going to be, like I said, 3-4 wins. I'd be shocked if it's anything more than that for the Raiders. And they're going to go to the playoffs. No, I'm just kidding.
And they're going to go to the playoffs with those 3 wins, too, because they were on Hard Knocks. So that's what's going to happen.
Yes. On there. So I got the Chiefs winning this division easily. Like I said, I'd be shocked if it's not 13, 14 wins out there, 12, 13. If it's anything less than 12, something major's gone wrong.
Right.
But
12-4 is not good, Chiefs.
Yeah, but I mean, 13, 14 wins is anything less than that's going to be a disappointment on that, with the Chargers right behind them, which we'll discuss the wild cards here in a bit.
So, I mean, who you got for the AFC wild cards? Since you gave us the division.
Oh,
that was the last AFC division.
Tells you where I am there. I actually have the Chargers. I think the Chargers are going to win 11, 12 games this year, believe it or not. So they are going to be dominating this AFC. The problem is they have the Chiefs in their division, which is going to take a lot of the things, which means they're going to do it silently, like they did last year, silently in there, and then it's just going to come down to playoff matchups at that point and how far they go on that. But yeah, they're definitely the first wild card. And then I do have Jacksonville. I think that defense comes back this year. I think they were disheartened last year with Bortles being their quarterback, and every time a mistake was made, they were like, here we go again.
There's old Blake.
So they didn't play as well last year, and I think with Nick Foles going to hold on to the ball, he's not going to do a lot of bad turnovers. I think that defense comes back. It's older, it's wiser. Nick Foles is going to do enough for them to win in that division, and they're going to be the second wild card.
Can't believe the Browns making the playoffs. How dare you?
I gave you the reasons why, man. The coaching staff has just got a. Freddie Kitchens was here with Bruce Arians, and if he's going off of Arians' style, was good for 2-3 years here, and then slowly went downhill. And there's so many question marks.
Well, you got 2 years to do it. All right.
That's what I'm saying. The Browns will take another step forward this year, but they're definitely not ready for playoff. And if they make the playoffs, they're going to get blown out in the first round. It's not going to be funny, but they're not.
So last year, the Chargers looked pretty good in the wild card. I'm not going to have them make the wild card this year. I feel like the Chargers more often than not one of those teams that they'll peak and then they kind of have a falling off. So I think there might be a little bit of a playoff hangover for the Chargers this year. So I like the Chiefs there. I already picked the Browns, the Jaguars, and the Patriots. So my wild card teams, actually, I like the Steelers to get one of the wild cards, wild card number 1. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and take the Jets for WC2.
Wow. Impressive.
WC2, man. It is the Sam Darnold, baby. We're going to be having a Darnold January.
I think if the Jets do what you think they're going to do, it's not going to be because of Sam Darnold. It's going to be because Le'Veon Bell is a workhorse.
Well, he's the quarterback, and everything goes through Sam Darnold.
All he is a facilitator to put that ball in Le'Veon Bell's gut.
So before we switch over to the NFC, let's talk about Hard Knocks real quick. Here, as we just talked about the Raiders and everything, and
I mean, it's a quick summary. The last night was
season summary. What you got?
Yeah, I mean, basically last night's episode focused on the players that have been the focus of the show, and then cut. So Wilson, Doss, the linebacker from Cameroon or wherever he was from.
Doss. I remember seeing that on ESPN this week. Oh man!
My favorite part about that is they show him catching all these passes in the last game, and then they they're like, there's a question if he's going to make the team, and then they show him dropping easy passes.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm going to get better at this. Then he goes out there and starts catching passes again. So, it's just a numbers game for them at this point. But,
right.
I mean, they cut, because they are a young team, Brandon Marshall got cut. He's coming off of injury. But, that was just a salary dump in a big position spot there. Hard Knocks this year was lame. If it wasn't for John Gruden, it would have been just awful to watch, horrible. He makes everything, on there. The HBO focused more on the quote unquote idea of being cut. They didn't show the players getting talked to. They showed them going in the room, and they focused on coaches sitting in a bar talking about, the defensive line coach was in there talking about the first time he got cut and, how it did. And then Wilson talked about how, I've been on the other side for so long. So, eventually this comes. And then they focused on the two rookies, Abram and another rookie were out fishing. He was like, man, and Abram was like, man, the only thing that keeps going through my mind is what do you do after you're cut? And the other guy goes, well, hope I never find out. That's more of what they did, which, no, man, showed the hard reality. When they focused on the guy's mother, even in the last preview game,
right.
The linebacker, and when he gets cut, he obviously called his mom, and told her, and like they don't show any of that stuff on there, which is show the hard. I want to see
the hard knocks of hard knocks.
I want to show. I want to see the reality of football. Where, then he walks outside and it's like, oh, I got picked up by Detroit. And he calls his mom and it's all happy news with him. No, show me. You focused on his mom. You focused on him.
I his mom's like, those mother effers don't know what the F they're doing.
Right?
That John Gruden, he ain't nothing but a fucking second-rate coach. And
that's so. I mean, it was just disappointing on that side. But I mean, like, John Gruden was messing with the referees again. So there was a brand new official working the last preseason game, and John Gruden says, "quote Welcome aboard. Good luck." You're in a crazy business, man. I wouldn't do it if I were you. I'd sit in New York City in an air-conditioned room.
It'd be the review
guy? Correcting these fuck-ups. He literally says that to a ref who's like, hey, man, good to see you. Glad you got promoted now. And then he says that to him. It's just brilliant. And he says it with a smile, and the ref's just laughing up a storm. Like, just me trying to say that there makes me laugh because, on there and things like that. So, it's just, it focused more on Antonio Brown with, his helmet again and his feet. And it was just pretty bad. But some takeaways I have from Hard Knocks this year is everyone looks like a Hall of Famer in slow-mo.
Yes.
And they focused on slow-mo a lot this year on there. And then if you go off of just watching Hard Knocks for 4 weeks, you think the Raiders are going to the Super Bowl.
Like you do every year with the Hard Knocks team.
But, it's even more this year because before you'd see him yelling at players. And stuff. John Gruden, like we talked about, so I liked him so much, was he was positive to a lot of guys.
He's like Big Brother.
Like in the last playoff game, he was like, man, anybody on this team deserves to be here. No other coach says that. They're like, this is your last game. Many of you, this is your last game. You're never going to put on a helmet again. And John Gruden's like, you all deserve to be here. We got some hard choices and things like that. And it was just like, it was kind of refreshing to see that side on there, even though in the back of his mind, he knows you're getting cut, you're getting cut, type of a deal. So, I mean, one of the weaker years, I think, like it's John Gruden. I just love the guy, man. I need to become, what do you call the head coach of the Rams? I need to just become like an unpaid intern and just stand next to John Gruden all day long.
So John Gruden, big Metallica fan. We found out yesterday, singing a little bit of Wherever I May Roam.
At 5 in the morning on the way to...
Yeah,
that was the other thing.
Fan. Good news. Metallica's a big fan of Gruden, too.
He goes, he says, well, he's got all the coaches in this thing. Gas is pretty expensive up here, so we thought we'd carpool, save some money. These coaches make a lot of money.
Yeah, what was his contract? $100 million?
Yeah. He's like, yeah, we thought we'd save some money by carpooling.
Save some money, guys. This penny pension, which I don't know. I guess if I had $100 million, I'd still be like, hang on, let's save some money. Guys.
They didn't show who was driving, but yeah, John Gruden in the passenger seat and Paul Gunther, the defensive coordinator, like in the backseat behind Gruden, they were talking. But it was just a funny comment. That's what I like about him, is he makes those comments that we'd all make.
Well, so I think they kind of tied into a little bit this episode with the first episode where they had the Raider alumni deal, and it was like, once a Raider, always a Raider, which you saw Keelan Doss saying that yesterday. Once a Raider, always a Raider, as walking through Al Davis's office, which is a pretty cool little deal there. I mean, the history of the Oakland Raiders, because there's some history there, as ugly as their uniforms are, which I think they have horrible uniforms.
Oh, I think their uniforms.
I hate the silver and black. I don't know why. I'm just like, oh, you guys just look third-rate NFL team.
It doesn't get better than that.
I don't know why. I can't stand it. Hate it.
I'm not a black.
I do not think it looks good.
I'm not a black clothing guy. Let me correct my saying there. But no, their uniforms are just their uniforms say we're just gonna kick the crap out of you and walk out of here.
Yeah, it's just too plain. I don't like it.
Yeah, I love it.
I need flashy, man.
Yeah, you need
I'm a flash guy. I'm a flash guy.
So Mark Davis was in the background a lot, but it was cool how I liked it how they went through the office, and he talked about how that office is untouched since his dad's death in October of 2011. But I didn't like how he says, quote, till you find someone that has been a scout, a coach, a general manager, a commissioner, and an owner, it's pretty hard to find someone to fill shoes for this room. So it stayed this way. Settle down. Settle down.
Settle down? I mean,
settle down, Mark Davis. What's he going to do when he moves to Las Vegas? That's my question.
Well, where's that office at?
But see...
Well, where's their headquarters?
So
you think they keep... headquarters back there, right?
Would they
go back there for training camp?
I don't know. So that's what I don't know. There's a lot of questions.
I think they go back there when the Cardinals moved to training camp in Vegas.
When the Cardinals moved to Arizona, they didn't move. They were still based out of St. Louis. They didn't move their ticketing and all that stuff from St. Louis for 5 or 6 years, if I remember right. So it's possible it'll stay up there for a while. for operations wise and things like that.
Or you get a
But
really good designer to come in, get all the measurements right, and then make that office
Move
look
it down
like
there.
the Vegas office.
you should like enclose it in glass
Yeah.
so you walk by it. It's
Maybe like
a-
one of those Hall of Fame days, like, oh, here's what the dugout
The
looked like when Bill Ryan
mausoleum.
threw his 7th no-hitter. or something.
And then they showed a whiteboard that had like all these descriptions on it. He's like, but he didn't leave a manual, but he left a playbook on where we need to go. And I'm like, did Al Davis write that before he died and just nobody erased it? Like, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah.
What would your whiteboard say?
They
Delete my
did-
history?
Yeah, delete my history immediately. Al Davis, when he filed Lane Kiffin, broke out a freaking one of those things when we had in elementary school, the projectors.
Yeah.
He broke out a projector to write points down. Al Davis wasn't using a computer.
Yeah, he had to get the Windex on the projector thing, and it made it all running. So I was like, hang on, let me turn it off because it would like make a penis and somebody would laugh. And, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so it was a weak season, but it was good to see the young talent out there. Like I said, if whether you love or hate John Gruden, I got a love for the guy. I've had it for a long time because of his attitude. It gave me a different perspective on the Raiders because, like I said, I cannot stand. Like I refuse to go to Raiders games. Like if they come to town, I'm like I won't even give my tickets to kids because kids don't need to see what Raiders
No,
are like.
you don't need to see it at
So bad.
all.
So, but anyway, that's my summary on it. It's over. Good. Now we can get down to football.
Yep, back to football and the NFC West. So we'll take you, coast to coast, then back to the other coast here in the NFL preview on the main event. Last year you had the Rams, who obviously went to the Super Bowl at 13-3. The Seahawks, who were wild card number 1 at 10-6. The Niners at 4-12, and those lonely cardiac Cardinals were back at 3-13. Steven.
I don't think you call them cardiacs anymore. That was the old plumber days and whatnot. So, this division is pretty easy. On the top, Rams are dominating this division again. They still have all the talent they had before. They've even getting some receivers back that they lost last year with Cooper Kupp. It's coming back. Jared Goff just signed a $150 million extension yesterday
Got paid.
on there. So he's the quarterback of the future. They proved that they don't need Gurley there to win. And so just having Gurley back is a huge deal on there. They might struggle early in the year because their philosophy is don't play anybody in the preseason. So they might have a couple tough, because they have a big game in week 1. Here coming up, they got the Packers. I'm sorry. They have the Packers at Green Bay.
What in week what? Not week 1. Packers playing the Bears, my man.
I'm sorry. Who are we talking about?
We're talking about the Rams.
Yeah, Packers at Bears.
We are well off of the.
I wrote
that one.
I wrote Packers twice. Sorry, everybody. I knew that. I see. You
It's
notice
the
that.
Panthers. So.
Yeah, Panther. You notice how I questioned that when I was talking.
Like who did I write?
I know. I wrote Packers twice. Panthers. Not knowing what Cam Newton's like in week 1, traveling across the country, and not playing anybody in preseason, so they could struggle here at the beginning of the season a little bit. But they're going to end up winning the division. The Seahawks, I was really down on this year until they traded for Clowney, and now it's like, that defense is back on there. So I'm expecting them to have still another decent year, possibly a wild card, but they're not going to win that division. Everybody's high on the Niners because of Garofalo, and he's the chosen one because he came from New England. They're going to suck this year. They're going to be just as awful as last year, whether Garofalo plays or not.
God awful, he says.
They're just going to be god awful. And then the Cardinals, the big unknown. I don't even know where to begin on that.
Let's have our Cardinals.
Yeah, we have our listen to
Preview.
our preview on the Cardinals coming up here that we'll have out we do a little separate one, Cardinals Rewind, where we focus on the last game, and then today we're doing a preview on that. But yeah, Rams are winning this division pretty easy. Seahawks 8 or 9 wins probably.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, you look at the Rams, obviously 13-3 last year, went to the Super Bowl where Bill Belichick just straight out coached Sean McVay. And I think, that happens quite a bit with Sean McVay, but I think getting that, the reps in and getting out coached by these bigger coaches is huge for Sean McVay. It's going to help him in the future.
2 years ago, they made the playoffs in the first round and looked like they'd never played football before. Out-coached left and right.
And that was against the Falcons, who
And
went to the Super Bowl the year prior.
Yeah, so he recovers from that, learns from that, gets to the Super Bowl last year. So he's showed already that he's willing to learn how to do it and make up these mistakes to get there again. So
yeah, and I think that offense is great. I mean, what was last year? They started 8-0, finished 13-3, and no team goes into LA anymore and plays the Rams and thinks, oh, hey, we're going to go in there with a W. It's one of those things you can't take for granted. I mean, teams now like the Panthers, Saints, Browns, and Bucks, when they play the Rams, there's going to be statement games for those teams individually if they can go in there and beat the Rams. And that's even the Saints, who played the Rams last year in the NFC title game. I still think it's a statement game. The defense is a little weary, but they do have Wade Phillips who can make up for some of the what?
No, go ahead.
Oh, no, you look like you had a thought.
Well, yeah. No, I was going to say Wade Phillips, though.
Yeah, Wade Phillips can make up for lack of talent.
But he's good the first and second year on a team, and then it's downhill after that. You as a Cowboy fan know that better than anybody.
That was head coach Wade.
So, but even as a coordinator,
the coordinator Wade.
But even as a coordinator, there's like a limit where he hits it, and then it's downhill from there. So is this the year that happens, or is it next year, or the year after that that happens?
Well, I do think there will be a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover this year. 13-3, I don't think is going to happen this year with that team. I think it's definitely a team that get 11 wins. So I'm going to put them right there about the 11-5 mark. I'm not going to go too overboard and say they're going to go 9-7 this year because I think that'd be a dramatic downfall. And I still think 12 is a little bit too high for this team.
I agree with that.
Going into this year. So, I mean, I think the Super Bowl hangover is definitely a real concern. Some issues on the O-line still with that team. But you did just get Jared Goff paid, which is good, moving ahead in the future of the Rams. So, definitely interested to see where it goes. And plus, you have Aaron Donald on defense, who is just the best, one of the best. I'm not going to put him over Khalil Mack. I still think Mack's a little bit better, but Donald is amazing.
1A and 1B.
Exactly. Yeah.
1A and 1A.
Yeah. Like I don't know. Like it's just flip a coin on that one. But no, even Donald's great.
But if they have a weakness, it's in their secondary, and it's hard to say they have a weak secondary because they'll still shut everybody down. But no, I agree with you. Like I said, I'm expecting a slow start for them. They might be 2-2. Possibly 2-3 to start the season coming out, but then they're just going to start rolling on that side. So, what do you think about the Seahawks?
No, the Seahawks. I mean, you got Clowney, which you think is going to be a big help to that defense. I kind of still had the Seahawks not really turning a lot of heads, but I still think they were going to be a 9 or 10 win team.
Oh, you still
like they were last year? Yeah,
I
didn't think it was going to change what they did last year. Last year they went 10-6. I still kind of have them going at 10-6 this year.
Oh, really? I mean, before the Clowney move, I was thinking 7-8 wins. With Clowney, I think him alone on that defense, because he's going to command a double team.
Right.
Him and J.J. Watt never worked out because they were too similar players, I think, in Texans. But he's got nobody that plays like him on there. So he's going to command the double teams. From what I'm reading, he's in the best shape of his life he's ever been.
Always.
You don't always hear that on there. But he's going to command that double team, which is going to open up the other linebackers and the other side on the defensive line to get to people. So, it's like 7-8 wins is what I was thinking. But just him alone on that defense, especially late in the game in a close game, he possibly could get him a win or two just for him being on that defense.
Yeah, and I think, looking at their schedule pre-Clowney, I mean, you start off with the Bengals.
Yeah,
all right, you start with the Bengals. You go to Pittsburgh, you have the Saints too, but then you come back, you play the Cardinals, which I think the Cardinals do split the series with them this year.
They always do.
So that's kind of one of those things. But you have the Rams, which I think those are 2 losses, and then you got the Browns, which I am on the hype train for it. Not a lot of people are, so we'll kind of see. Could be a little student teaching the teacher there, or teacher teaching the student there, whatever you're gonna call it. But then you play the Ravens, who I'm not high on at all right now. The Falcons, a little weary still. I think Matt Ryan's going to be great this year. We'll talk about the Falcons a little bit more. But you also have the Buccaneers, the Niners twice, the Vikings, who I think take a step down this year, and the Panthers, and the Niners. So, yeah, I just feel like the 10 wins there is still feasible, even whether you're with or without Clowney.
All right.
But they did shore up their pass rush, which was their biggest issue.
Their hugest issue. They couldn't put pressure on anybody and just left their corner. That's why when the Legion of Boom started going downhill with injuries and traded and let go and stuff like that. That's why they have struggled the last couple of years on defense, is because if you don't get pressure, you're leaving those guys out to hang out there. And with Clowney in there, they can get that back now, and then it makes your secondary so much better.
It's crazy to me that only Bobby Wagner and Russell Wilson are the 2 prominent players from those Seahawks teams or yesteryear. Can we say yesteryear with the Seahawks already?
5 years ago.
Right? I mean, it just feels like it was forever ago. When they were going to the Super Bowl year in, year out. The 49ers, man, I mean, gosh. Last year, 13 players went on the IR, season-ending injury.
But they're already injured.
Garoppolo. Yeah, and like I said, they're already getting injured. And, you look at this team, they have talent to go, I think, be a 10-win team. But they always get hurt. I don't know if the Mets training staff went and got jobs in San Francisco, but that's what it looks like with this team, and it sucks. Like, you hate to be like, oh, well, that team's going to get hurt, so they're not going to win games, but it's true with the Niners, and that sucks for the Niners, fans in San Francisco.
Joey Bosa gets drafted. He had that hernia last year in college, but he worked on it for 6 months or whatever. No history of any injuries or anything, and he has to miss most of preseason because of an ankle problem he can't get solved. And it's like, what the heck's going on up there? So you're not on the Jimmy Garoppolo wins everything bandwagon like Peter King and everybody else?
No, I mean, I think Garoppolo has proven he's a winner. I trust Kyle Shanahan with Garoppolo in the offense, but I still don't think they were going to go in and win all the games in the world. Maybe 8 wins.
I trust
team.
I trust Garoppolo way more than I trust Shanahan. I think Shanahan's the problem.
I trust them together. And then the Cards, like we said, I mean, obviously, heart and soul of this team is Larry Fitzgerald, but we have big concerns going into this year with the offensive line.
I don't even know how to handicap them, to be honest with you.
The big concerns are the offensive line, and then you also have a new head coach in Cliff Kingsbury and a green quarterback in Kyler Murray. Yeah. Is he going to be clapping, getting false starts? Is he going to, I don't know. It's going to be one of those weird things. So I know we'll talk more about it on the Cardinals preview, and we'll actually break down all the games for the Cardinals on that one. But now, I don't even know. Like, I mean, I live in Arizona, so I want to say they'll be decent, maybe 500 this year.
Yeah, I could see them going 8-8 easily, but then at the same time, I could see them winning 2 games. If they're lucky.
Yeah.
So it's literally one of those things. So definitely listen to the Cardinals Rewind is what we call it. It comes out as a separate deal, and we'll delve a little more into that, and we'll be discussing after games, the previous game that just happened, as well as looking forward to future matchups.
So I got the Rams winning that division. What say you?
Same here.
All right.
Easy.
Moving on to the NFC South, you have the Saints, 13-3 last year. In the NFC title game, a pass interference call away from going to the Super Bowl.
Non-pass interference call.
Non-pass interference call. The Falcons and Panthers, they're both 7-9 last year, and the Buccaneers 5-11. I think without question, though, this should be a battle between the Saints and maybe the Falcons this year. Obviously, the Saints, I mean, Drew Brees getting older, so his arm strength starting to come into play. Seen some rumblings about his arm strength.
He struggled second half of the year.
I hope it doesn't
suck
too much for him this year because he is one of my players there on the old fantasy football league. But I think they're going to get tested right out of the gate early in September, man. You got 4 playoff teams are playing this year right out the gate with the Texans, Rams, Seahawks, and Cowboys. So if they can get off to a strong start, I think they'll be good.
Oh, man, the Saints are winning 12 or 13 games this year. No, mark it down. It's what they do. Even if they take a step back and only win 11, it's still going to be a solid year. You got Kamara on that offense. That defense is better than it's ever been this year. They are the only team I think you don't have to worry about a bad call hurting them, because they showed 2 years ago a bad call that they came back last year, and now another bad call, and they're like Teflon. Anybody else, I'd say, any other team, I'd say a call like that, mark them down for 4 wins next year, because they're just going to it's going to be in their head. Right. It's going to be. The Saints are the one team I don't feel that way about. Yeah, I mean, they're winning 12, 13 games. Mark it down.
It's crazy because a few years ago you thought the Sean Payton Drew Brees marriage was getting ready to be divorced, and here they are, and they come back and they fight better than ever. They went to counseling and
a lot of that, it's all money. That was because his contract was up.
Rumors and media and stuff like that. But yeah, I got him pegged as 11-5 team this year. Same with the Falcons, man. I think besides the injuries, I mean, which are already kind of real in their ugly head there in Atlanta, they're a pretty good team. I mean, I feel like Matt Ryan's going to be better this year. Last year he had a great 2018 season. I don't think it's going to hurt them all this year. I believe they just found $5 million lying around somewhere to give Julio Jones.
Well, the Falcons,
from what I read.
The Falcons' problem last year was their defense. I think they went through 13 different defensive cornerbacks or secondary members last year or something. 13 different guys ended up playing because they kept losing guys left and right. So the defense, so if they can stay healthy on that side, they have the talent to compete. That Super Bowl year wasn't a fluke as long as they can stay healthy, especially on the defensive side.
Yeah, they had the old big hangover, and then the injuries kind of stacked up on them as well. The Panthers, I mean, it all kind of relies on how healthy Cam Newton's going to be. Cam Newton, he's kind of proven he's not going to be that healthy guy. If he's healthy, they're in decent shape. Maybe a 9-7 team.
Who does he have to throw to? Because they just cut Torrey Smith.
Exactly. Like the wideouts don't matter. Like it's Cam Newton's team in that defense.
And can he stay healthy? He's already injured. He's got that ankle problem that happened in preseason. He loves to take hits. Yeah, I think the Panthers are taking a huge step. I think Ron Rivera's luck in Carolina is coming to an end here.
Well, and you kind of know it's coming to an end because Ron Rivera has taken over the defense now. So whenever a head coach says, I need to take over, that's when they're fighting for their job. He's taking over the defense.
Well, it's a new owner,
They did get Gerald McCoy and Brian Burns. That's going to help that pass rush, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah, and then new owners, you got to keep that in mind too, there for the coaching staff and everything. But yeah, I mean, I think the Panthers are taking a step back. Cam Newton's not going to stay healthy throughout the year. And like I said, only receiver I knew was Torrey Smith, and now you got McCaffrey, right? But 2 guys in the backfield. Okay, stack the line.
Yeah, how much are you going to rely on Christian McCaffrey and Cam Newton? Although I know Christian McCaffrey balls out this year because he's also on the fantasy team as well. The Buccaneers, on the other hand, they got Bruce Arians. He's there.
I'm still trying to figure out why you would come out of retirement and go to Tampa Bay in that division.
Good weather.
and go to Tampa Bay. Yeah, right.
Good
Retire
weather.
in Florida.
I mean, he was kind of quarterback whisperer when he was here. I don't think he's going to help out Jameis Winston
Carson
too much.
Palmer was the exact same quarterback he was before, though. He showed those signs before. What is he going to do with Jameis Winston?
Well, he showed those signs in Cincy. He went to Oakland.
Yeah,
kind of had a falling off, but
that's
he
my
showed
point.
what he was.
He showed.
Yeah.
Show me, the offense that Arians runs, because we saw it here for years. How does Jameis Winston fit into that? No risk it, no biscuit.
Right.
I don't see it at all.
I mean, the guy turns the ball over a lot.
They're-
and that's the thing. Like, yeah, you can coach up a kid so much, but when he's out on the field, you can't tell him, hey, don't throw it to that guy, because he's going to throw it to that guy. Like, his thought process is, oh, crap, there's a turnover. Like, that's his thought process.
I mean, I drafted Mike Evans in one of my leagues because I was like, man, because Arians is just going to be like, throw it up to that guy, the 6'8" Texas A&M alum, I think he is, just throw it up to that guy, let him go catch it, which he hasn't done in years past. So I'm kind of hoping that's going to happen. But yeah, I just don't see Tampa. JPP is back on injured reserve.
Yeah, the defense looks brutal. They're going
Yeah.
to a 3-4 with Todd Bowles now. I still don't see it. That NFC South, I mean, it's too tough, especially with the Saints and the Falcons there.
Yeah, I mean, you got just your 3 teams in your division that you have to play twice is going to be bad. That could potentially be 6 losses right there.
Yep. So I'm picking the Falcons at 11-5 to win this.
I got the Saints winning it, like 12 or 13 games on there. But I'm expecting Falcons to stay healthy. I'm expecting them to, 8-9 wins.
So moving on ahead to the NFC North, we got the Bears who won it last year, surprising a lot of people. Mitchell Trubisky, not Bears. The Vikings went 8-7-1. Of course, they tied the Packers, who went 6-9-1, and the Lions, who went 6-10.
Stupid.
What you saw last year, man, the Bears, they rallied around Mitch Trubisky. His third year.
Their defense was stacked.
Yeah, but they also rallied around Mitch, too, on that offense.
They did. Yeah.
Being his third year as the signal caller there. I mean, yeah, the defense is stacked. Khalil Mack is the best athlete on the team, maybe in the NFL. Like I said, 1A and 1B with him and Aaron Donald. So we saw what he did last year off the edge. Looked phenomenal. Did have a little bit of falling off, though, late in the year. We saw the sack numbers go down quite a bit. So if he can keep it up all year long and get, 25 sacks this year, I mean, they're going to be stacked right there. I don't think being undefeated is going to be hard for them. They did play the Chiefs late, so that'd be a battle 2 unbeatens. No.
Wow.
No, not going there. But I still think 13-3 is definitely not far-fetched for this unit this year.
Yeah, I'm on the Bears bandwagon this year, in this division at least. Just offensively, Matt Nagy knows how to he showed it last year. He knows how to put an offense together so his team can be successful. That defense is beyond stacked. I expect to see games where Khalil Mack will struggle for sacks because that's how you get blocked. The other guys get paid too. However, just because he's blocked, that means they're double teaming him, which means the other guys can get in there. So it's imperative the other guys get in there and put pressure on him on that. But yeah, I see the Bears. I mean, I don't know about 13, but definitely 10 or 11 wins.
My main issue with them right now is there were some reports that kind of came out that said even last year, the offense, they opened up a playbook a lot for Mitchell Trubisky. And there's some games you're like, what the heck was that? Like, he went off on teams. And this year they're talking about scaling it back to kind of help him out in his progression. So it's kind of weird, like, hearing that come out of the Bears, how they want to, like, scale it back to help Mitch Trubisky because they want to put him in those situations.
As a guy that laughed at the Matt Nagy hire, what I saw last year was a guy that knows how to put an offense together for the strength of his quarterback and his receivers and things like that. I'm not doubting him at all. He's going to do the right thing for his coach. You know what? If he goes out there and it's scaled back for the first game or two and it's not working, he'll be the first one to be like, all right, throw it away. Next. Speaking of quarterback gurus, I mean, he has convinced me that he is one of them.
The Vikings, I think they're going to be a dark horse kind of this year going into it.
Think they're going to rebound this year?
I mean, you like to see a team rebound, I guess, but I'm not too sure. I'm not sold on it this year. I think there'll be that stretch that they have where like, oh man, Vikings going to make a push for it, and then I feel like they'll kind of fizzle off.
And then Kirk Cousins will have one of those 8 turnover games.
What does he always say? How you like that?
Oh, yeah.
You like that?
Yeah, whatever.
So we'll get the Kirk Cousins. You like that?
Made a shirt out of it or whatever.
But they did get Gary Kubrick has a offensive consultant.
Great. What does that mean? Nothing.
We don't know, but I mean, who knows? It could help out there in the back half.
They hired their head coach and everything was hired for his toughness and whatever. And I feel like the Vikings aren't tough. I feel like you can dominate. So I think like Khalil Mack and the Bears can go in there and I'm going to use the word scare, but they can intimidate the Vikings. And that's not good when that's your football team.
Think they're playing pretty boy football too?
Yeah, right. So I think the Vikings. What did they finish last year? Weren't they 8-8 or something? 7-9.
Yeah, last year the Vikings 8-7-1. They tied the Packers,
That's right.
who of course went 6-9-1. Packers this year, man, you got a new head coach.
I don't.
Matt LaFleur.
I don't understand the Packer love. I don't get it.
I don't know either. I mean, I guess it's Aaron Rodgers' love at this point.
Okay.
That team
Who's he
really
going to throw
has
to?
not. I mean, what, you got Devontae Adams?
Who's he going to run
It
to?
went fourth in my draft for some reason.
Sweet.
Not too sure why. But,
Yeah,
gosh,
I gotta
I'm
get
just
your
not
league.
sold on the Packers, man, like you are. I don't see it.
And
They've improved the defense through the draft, but that's a big – you're asking a lot out of these rookies, though.
yeah, but they
If you
let
want 'em-
experience go. Matthews
Right.
is in the Rams now, and they let a lot of experience go. But, you know, this head coach was picked by Aaron Rodgers, and I think he's going to be soft, and I think the team's going to end up being soft in terms of football players, soft. And you could see it in Hard Knocks when he walks up to John Gruden, and he's like, hey, what do you think about the field? And John's like, wait, you don't think we should play? And he's like, oh, no, I think.
Oh, yeah.
He changed his total attitude, you know, and it's like, be a man. Tell John Gruden you don't want to play. And then they just wussed out about the whole field. Like, they're just making up.
Settle on starters, yeah.
That's preseason where you sit 33 starters that are scheduled to play because of a hole in the field that nobody else
In the
cared
tune-up
about.
game.
That just wakes me up. That I already thought worse. I mean, the guy was worried about the louder the stadium gets, the lower the beer sales would be, or whatever. That's what this head coach is focusing on. That's not a good sign.
Yeah, he's a great business guy, though.
And-
Great business guy.
And Aaron, great, put him in the front office. But I mean,
beer sells up.
Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to start going downhill. He started missing open receivers last year than he never did before, but he doesn't have a lot of talent on that team. I don't understand the Packers' love. They're taking a huge step back.
Yeah, and Rodgers will get you wins, but he's not going to get you 11-5 at all. So I totally agree. The Lions, of course, they are the Lonely Lions. Probably going to have some company, though, with the Packers, I feel like, this year, being a 5-6 win squad.
Ooh, you think the Packers are only going to win 5 or 6?
I'm not putting them up there, man. I
Woo.
mean, 7-9 is probably going to be my cut line for the Packers.
I'd say 8, 9-7 is what I was thinking.
But, yeah, the Lions, I mean, Stafford's coming from down year. They open up right here at home against
We're
the
gonna see
Cardinals,
'em.
so we'll see them around the gate.
They changed this will be in the preview this week for the Cardinals on that deal, because go into that a little bit, but they're changing their offense. The Lions are changing their offense. Matt Patricia just does not do anything for me at all.
They added Trey Flowers this year to help the defense.
Matt Patricia is just a lump on a stump. But Matt Patricia is a defensive guru. And they have to add somebody. Oh my God.
I know, yeah.
So awful. Lions will be
that's a
lucky.
cluster.
Hopefully, one of these wins isn't against the Cardinals, but the Lions are going to be lucky to win 4 games this year.
I agree with that. So you got the Bears winning that one?
Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears.
Bears.
Did you see the preview? I think I retweeted it out at SMAC 500 and also at the main event Twitter page. Where it had the 2 Bears guys
With Brett Favre?
and Brett Favre. Did
Yeah,
you see that?
I watched that yesterday, actually.
Yeah, it was
with,
pretty funny.
With Eric.
Brett Favre is laughing when they totally do the calendar. Like he starts loud. They have to cut it because he starts laughing.
It was great.
So obviously he was not scripted on what they were throwing
He
at
was
him.
like, what the heck? Couldn't believe the...
So definitely check that out. Like I said, SMAC 500 or at the main event podcast on Twitter. It's definitely on there.
Moving on to the NFC East. Is this our final division? Yes, it is.
Yes,
Our
it
final
is.
division in the preview. The Cowboys last year went 10-6, won the division, lost to the Rams, who went on to the Super Bowl and the playoffs. The Eagles, they were wild card at number 2, of course, with Nick Foles in the playoffs. Kind of led them there. The Redskins went 7-9, and the Lonely Giants went 5-11. Of course, the Giants, we touched on them a little bit earlier. It has Odell Beckham went to Cleveland. Saquon Barkley, yeah, he's great. Probably 1A and 1B, him and Zeke, I would say, in the NFC East. When it comes to running back talent,
I'm sure. I mean, he's younger.
yeah, he's younger, but I think he's great. I mean, he looked great last year.
Zeke's 24. I mean, how much younger can you get?
Yeah, both these guys. Zeke's the veteran at 24 now.
I know. Yeah.
Just got paid.
Yeah.
Probably gonna fall off. He's in the downturn of his career.
I mean, if Saquon stays healthy, he's going to be one of the league's best running backs.
Right, but the rest of that team. I mean, it's a 6. I mean, it's one of those teams where you think Eli could get you more wins.
He's got
Because
no
he
way to
has
throw to.
2 Super Bowl wins, but I mean, they still got Sterling Shepard back there.
Great. Top 2 receivers have ACL issues. They're out for the season. Golden Tate is out for the first 4 games, 6 games, or whatever, suspension. Yeah, it's going to be a long.
Yeah, it's gonna be garbage, but
I mean, Eli's just in there, and the question is when they're going to take Eli out and put the rookie in. Rebuilding year for the Giants. That's why they got rid of Beckham. Get rid of the headaches. Get rid of that
they drafted
stuff.
Daniel Jones 6. They
Yeah.
reached on it.
They're definitely which he impressed in the preseason, but I want to see what he can do in the regular season. And when the Giants are 0-5, 0-6, that fan base is going to clamor to see some hope out there. And I think that's where they're going to have to go to it. Because the other side of it is I don't want to see him use Barkley a lot because he's a running back, and you don't want that guy, football career being done at 25.
Yeah, I think that's the hard thing when it comes to trying to pick. I feel like the Giants are going to be last in this division, but trying to pick their win total is the hard thing because there probably will be a midseason quarterback change from Eli to Daniel Jones.
Give him
and
a
at that
spark,
point,
and
you think spark, but when we saw it last year with Rosen, we thought we were getting the spark there too, but that didn't help out.
Yeah,
that was in bad situations.
That was a different.
And everything.
That was a different deal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so.
I mean, the head coach of the Giants, Pat Shurmur, has been around forever. He knows how to play this game. He knows where to put people in the right situations and let them execute. So I have more faith in him than I did with Cardinals head coach last year to put him in the right situation. But you think same thing with the Redskins. I mean, Case Keenum's the starter there. They have the rookie in the backup.
You got the two journeymen of Colt McCoy and Case Keenum.
Yes.
And Dwayne Haskins battling for that starting spot.
But that's the thing. I think you're going to see a similar thing here with Dwayne Haskins. You're going to see him at some point this year in there to see what he can do. But both the Giants and the Redskins are going to be toward the bottom. 4 wins at the most for both of them.
Yeah, they'll both be cellar dwellers. But they'll be company out there for the Giants.
Redskins have talent, and to be honest with you, I'm a Case Keenum fan. He gets kind of a raw deal as a journeyman because younger guys always come in, and it's going to happen to him again this year with Haskins there. But he can win you some games if he'll win you more games than he'll lose you. We'll put it that way. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Redskins might win 5 games, maybe 6 games.
I think it's about right.
That'd be their peak. But I think the Giants are coming in dead last on this. Like you said, it depends on the quarterback switch. The Eagles, though, and the Cowboys, I know where your heart lies on this division. I don't have anything in this other than the fact that I can't stand either team. So my hatred for both, can both their planes crash on a flight? Be perfect. Maybe crash into each other would make my day. But I don't understand this Cowboy love.
Well, there's great Cowboy love. There's a reason I understand the Cowboy love. They've been in the playoffs 2 out of the last 3 years. The Eagles
and promptly exited.
The Eagles, of course, all their season relies on the health of Carson Wentz.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't?
No.
Well, you don't have Nick Foles back there anymore?
Doesn't matter.
Who you guys back him now in Philly?
Doesn't matter.
I think it all.
I can't go. Who's your guys'? I don't. Who's your guys'? Like I'm an.
Well, I don't know.
Do you have an Eagles hat on? All of a
You're a
sudden?
Cardinals fan, so it's a bird. I don't know. Like, what we got? You also like the Ravens. You like all the bird teams. Shut up. Act like you don't.
Now that you mention it. Yeah.
Wait a minute. What's going on here? But no, I think if Wentz stays healthy, I mean, the Eagles are definitely going to be in some great shape. And it could be one of those situations where it comes down to it's going to be Eagles and Cowboys. I mean, one of the two.
Yeah.
Just kind of flip a coin, make your pick. I think the Eagles have the deepest roster in terms of a 53-man roster. Their offense, of course, with a healthy Wentz, is going to be a top 5 offense. He has a lot of weapons in Sean Jackson, Alshon Jeffrey, Zach Ertz, Nelson Aguilar. Am I still saying that right? I don't know. Dallas Goedert, Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard, still on the team, not getting traded.
Yeah, right. Which also means what, Jason? That the backup has those same talents.
But the backup is probably not as good as Carson Wentz.
Nick Foles wasn't as good as Carson Wentz.
Yeah, but Nick Foles, he's been around. He knows who to throw it to.
We just had this conversation about which Nick Foles are going to get. The crappy LA Rams one? Or
the crappy LA Rams didn't have anybody to throw to either.
But he doesn't.
When he has people to throw to, he can do decent. All right. So, I mean, I kind of lean towards about a 10 or 11 win team this year from the Eagles, but same side. I think the Cowboys are going to be right there in it, too, with 10 or 11 wins. You got Zeke Elliott. He's finally signed. Dak Prescott, I think, is the heart and soul of that team. He carries the ability. I mean, he lifts up others around him. I'm not saying he's the best athlete on the Cowboys, but he has that ability to lift others around him. I know that sounds really stupid and cliche, but he is the leader on the Cowboys team, although the game plan does revolve around Zeke Elliott, and it will so now that he has signed his, 6-year, $90 million contract extension.
Yeah, we're still waiting for...
I'm waiting for the particulars. I know it's 50 guaranteed.
50 guaranteed.
I want to know...
But what are the... Yeah, we want to know what the cancellations are.
When can you cancel that contract and look ahead to the future?
The only thing, because I just refreshed everything to see if anything's coming out yet, and the only thing I'm seeing now is that he's not going to see the last 2 or 3 years of that deal. Everything's front loaded on it, which makes sense, but I want to see the cancellations. Really quick though, did you see my retweet of is Ezekiel Elliott returning to the practice field after his lengthy hold on Cabo?
Hey, he returned to the practice field today. They said he looked great. He was eating. He stuck his belly out there.
No, that's not even him. It's a lineman.
Oh, that lineman? That's great.
He takes his helmet off. So a lineman comes out and is obviously overweight.
Because all the jokes. They read the jokes. That's great.
He takes his helmet off here. But if you watch it, but he does everything like Zeke. Like even when you first glance, everybody's laughing. But he comes out dressed like Zeke. Zeke's outfit on, shirt tucked up, his belly hanging out. Oh my God, it's hilarious to watch it. But anyway,
But no, I heard today they call upon a player to lead the jumping jack drills, and Zeke led it today, and he had his count down pretty good with the 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2. So Zeke looked good there.
so Zeke can count. Zeke learned how to count.
Yeah,
Cabo.
so based on that, I think he's going to get at least 25 touches, 150 yards this year.
So,
So I mean, hey.
well, that's the debate. Is everything I've seen says that they're expecting him to get like 15. They better not overwork him this week against the
I think
Giants.
20 would be the cutoff right there, wouldn't you? Like it's not going to be 35.
I don't care.
And I don't think the Lions are that good. I don't think they're going to need him against the Lions as much.
Giants.
Or yeah, not the Lions, the Giants, right?
Yeah, get him ready, get him in shape, because then you have the Redskins week 2. So
And then you got the Dolphins. So I
Yeah.
mean, the first 3 weeks, like we talked last week, looks pretty manageable for that team. The biggest concern I have right now is Kellen Moore's offense. He is going to be the play caller this year, his first year calling the plays. So there's reason to be excited about that.
So you're not concerned at all about Jason Garrett?
I mean, Jason Garrett, head coach, he is a lame duck coach, which kind of sucks. You don't make the playoffs with lame duck coaches. And I think they might be looking ahead to Lincoln Riley.
That's what. God, that name's been there forever.
He's been there for the last couple of years, so I mean, it could happen. But I mean, I think that defense is going to be a top 3 defense. Is what I'm projecting this year. They got talent there. They showed it last year. The talent came. Amari Cooper. Before Amari Cooper, that team was horrible on third down conversions. With Amari Cooper, they went up to number 1 in third down conversions.
They're losing Amari Cooper after this year, so they better.
Well, this is the year.
Like I said before we started rolling, this is the year the Cowboys better make the Super Bowl, because it's downhill after this. But these deals they're pumping out, I understand you can manipulate the thing, but you're paying Dak. They're paying Dak.
There's only so much you can manipulate the cap
You're paying
space.
Dak no matter what, and he's going to have to get high-end money because he's a quarterback. That has to happen. So that means you're losing a receiver next year, which then begs the question, why did you trade for him for a first-round pick when you could have drafted a younger guy that could keep him longer?
I feel like the pressure was on for last year when they were down. What were they last year before the trade?
Well, no, I don't. I'm not saying last year the trade looked great,
They were 5 losses last year before the trade.
My point is moving forward with Zeke on this, because I mean he takes up a huge chunk. Yes, the offense runs through him, but the problem with running backs, man, is they hit a wall quick.
Yeah, so we'll see how that works out. But they did do some good things in the offseason. Obviously, get Travis Frederick back, who had his health issues last year. Didn't know if he was ever going to play football again.
Good way of putting it.
So that's huge. I don't remember what the disease was, one of those weird immune diseases.
Yes.
But he's back to anchor that offensive line, which is still elite. Randall Cobb was, I think, kind of underrated signing at wideout for them. Just the way they use wide receivers there.
He's not going to do it. Like the guy that left and went to where? The white guy, not Cooper Kupp. The
white guy? The guy who came back?
Cole Beasley.
Cole Beasley?
Yeah, they didn't utilize any receivers last year. That was his complaint. Was his numbers were down because they didn't throw to anybody.
Well, that's because he's like 5'4". Didn't see him.
They threw to before Cooper got there. They threw to Zeke and they threw to the no-name tight ends.
And they threw to Gallup a lot.
Yeah, so they don't utilize that. That's my point in this deal. Is their offense is very stagnant and it runs through Zeke, which is fine. But at some point, you got to throw the ball downfield.
Well, speaking of unknown tight ends, Jason Witten is back, baby. Fresh legs. Was he 45 years old now? 60?
Right.
Balding.
Right.
Man is back.
He shows up in a walker.
Cowboys are winning this division, man. It's not
Really?
far-fetched to say they're going undefeated.
Oh, jeez.
And yes, I'll totally say Homer bias as a play there.
Yes. I had already written down that you had the Cowboys winning this division long before I even started doing my research here. So I put the schedule of the Cowboys and the Eagles side by side, and the Eagles have an easier schedule.
Really?
I think so. Between home games and whatever on there. But I think the Eagles are winning this division. 11-12 wins in that range, but the Cowboys are going to have 9 or 10 wins easy. They should, especially with the schedule they have lined up there. 9 or 10 wins. It's going to be an adjustment, though, at the beginning. They have 3 easy games that they should win, even getting him in there, getting Zeke accustomed. Because that was my thing was I was like, the Cowboys have to be prepping for a Zeke playbook and then a non-Zeke playbook for this weekend.
Yeah, that's what I'm interested in. I obviously won't know, but interested how much the game plan had to change.
Yes.
Now, since it is Wednesday, week 1 of the season.
That messes with the team, man.
So
today's install day, and like they didn't install anything. Like if he didn't sign to going today, it'd be different. But then the other side of it is I don't care how many sit-ups and running and all that stuff you do with the Hall of Famer Marshall Faulk out there, and I don't care how much that the team sent down a free agent quarterback to throw you the ball so you can catch. I don't care how much you do any of that. You get in a game, an NFL game, where you start getting hit, your body reacts differently. And I don't care what shape you're in. It's going to be interesting to see how he reacts when, a guy falls on him funny this weekend.
Well, here's the thing, though. He wasn't going to play in the preseason. Last year, he took 0 snaps in preseason. If he was to play a game this year, it probably would have been what? Game 2, 5 snaps?
I agree.
Game 3?
But in practice, what do? You don't hit like you used to, but you get hit. So your pads will hit each other. Your body gets used to that feeling and all that stuff. And even that's different than a game. So this weekend, so he's going to run it up the middle or doing those outside running things, and he's going to have Giants out on his legs, hitting him in weird spots. That hasn't happened to Cabo at all. So it's going to be interesting to see how he reacts. Because my theory on this is when running backs hold out, their first game or second game, they're pulling a hammy.
Yeah, I definitely could see the hammy get pulled. That's my biggest concern right now with that team is Zeke going down. But I still like the Cowboys winning the division, like the Rams winning the West. I got the Bears winning the North, and then the South I got the Falcons. My wild card teams, I'm going to go Saints and Eagles. What say you?
Saints and Eagles. Really? I don't know why that just threw me.
Yeah, I don't know.
After you just bashed the Eagles and Carson Wentz.
I didn't bash him. I just said it all relies on Carson Wentz.
What?
I still think when he goes out in Week 13, they'll have enough cushion built up to make a wild card.
I'm like, interesting. I've got the Falcons and the Seahawks for the wild card. I just think but Clowney in there is going to give him I already had him at 8-8, 9-7. And I think Clowney in there is just going to have him. Just going to keep him in a game long enough to get him a couple extra wins in there. So I could see 9 or 10 wins getting him into the second wild card there.
Speaking of wins, let's take a look at week 1 of the NFL slate. As we have a full slate of games this week, obviously, because it is week 1 of the NFL season.
All the football you want.
All the football you want.
I'll be tired of it come Sunday afternoon. I ain't going to lie to you.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll definitely be tired of it come Sunday afternoon, but it feels good. Now you got college football. We got some big games in college football happening on Saturday, mixed in with some big games. I mean, obviously starting right out of the gate, Thursday night, Packers going to Chicago to take on the Bears. Of course, last year, remember this game started off the Sunday night slate where the Packers came back down, 20-0?
Yes.
And won the game. Chicago, 3-point favorites. Who you like?
The Bears.
I, too, like the Bears. I do not think it's going to be a repeat of last year. Hopefully that kid who came up with that video gets redemption this year. He's not crying and cussing and breaking shit. Saw that video the other day. Made me laugh. But, yeah, I like the Bears winning this game. Like I said, I just don't think – Aaron Rodgers, yeah, he's great. But he's going to be great against less than stellar teams, and the Bears are a pretty stellar team. So,
well, not just that. I mean, it's the head coaches, Packers head coach. I'm just not a fan of first-time head coaches walking into it on the road against a stacked defense and doing
a division rival, and what is probably arguably one of the best rivals in football. So, yeah.
So I have a lot of issues with all that.
So. Then Sunday we get started out bright and early, Steve. For us, 10 o'clock. Titans playing the Browns in Cleveland. Browns 5-point faves.
Unfortunately, I have the Browns.
Oh, don't say unfortunately. You want to take you did not take the Browns at all last year.
I did.
You were 0 Browns until like week 15. You finally
and I think they lost that week.
Yeah, the week you took them, they lost. But you were like, nope, not taking the Browns at all. Even after Baker went out and baked out. Can we say baked out? I don't know. But.
I don't know if that's a T-shirt. I just want the factor of sadness to continue. I don't want that to go away.
Get baked, Steven. Take the Browns all day. I like the Browns too. Ravens playing the Dolphins. Of course, this game in Miami, humidity could come into play, but Baltimore's still a 6.5-point favorite on the road. Yeah. Disrespect to the Dolphins, but it's warranted. I like the Ravens.
Ravens.
Falcons and Vikings, another early game as well. This one in Minnesota, where Minnesota is a 4-point favorite. It's going to have the crowd there all rocking out in their purple. See what that defense and offense can do. I think it's going to come down to a field goal, but I like the Falcons winning.
I'm going Falcons also. What are we doing here?
What are we doing?
This is unusual for us.
Bills and Jets could come down to this this first game of the year for the Bills and Jets could determine who gets wild card number 2 for the AFC in my eyes. The game is, of course, getting played in East Rutherford, New Jersey, but I expect a lot of the Bills Mafia to be out there tailgating, breaking tables and all sorts of stuff, but I like the Jets winning this.
I have the Bills. I think the Bills are going to surprise, especially early in the year here. They're just under the radar. A lot of eyes on the Jets with the additions, and I just don't have confidence in Adam Gase.
Redskins and Eagles, another 10 a.m. matchup in Philadelphia. Eagles 10-point favorites, my man. And, Carson Wentz, he's back. He's healthy, at least for week 1. We'll see how long it lasts, but I like the Eagles beating the Redskins.
Yeah, I don't even... 10-point lead, a 10-point favorite in the NFL is ridiculous.
I mean, I think the 6.5 out on the roads is ridiculous as well.
I know.
Crazy week 1 opening odds here. Rams taking on the Panthers, 10 a.m. as well here. Hard matchup. The Rams going and playing that 10 a.m. Pacific game, but it is the Panthers. Of course, Cam Newton has had some health issues here in the preseason, and that Rams defense is phenomenal. I feel like Cam Newton at some point will be missing some snaps this game. Rams 2.5-point faves. I like him to win.
You have zero info on Cam Newton at all, so it's even harder
I
to
don't
even
know
do this
if
deal.
Cam's playing this week or not. I haven't seen anything.
You know, like you hear nothing because it's the first week, so injury reports come out tomorrow, I think, right? Or is it Thursdays or Tuesdays? But you don't hear anything about it. It's going to come out as, whatever. It's going to play. The question is how much and whatnot, but I agree. The Rams defense is going to carry this game for the Rams this weekend.
Chiefs at Jaguars. KC, 3.5-point favorites, taking on Nick Foles and the brand new Jags. I like KC winning this game.
Yep, KC is going to win this game pretty easily. The thing interesting on this is just seeing how they use McCoy.
Jacoby Brissett era begins in Indianapolis at 1 o'clock. The late games here against the Chargers. Chargers at home, 6.5-point favorites. You can go to the Dignity Health Sports Park for $85. Steve, you down?
No. I'm all, no.
No, but I like the Chargers winning.
You know what? I was going to go with the Colts on this game because I'm a huge Brissett fan, and team's going to rally around him. But I just think the Chargers are going to be too tough this year, especially first game of the year. So I agree on Chargers.
Bengals and Seahawks taking on the 12th man in all the glory of Cincinnati with new head coach, new this, new that, no A.J. Green. Bengals, 9.5-point underdogs taking on the Sea Chickens. Give me the Seahawks.
Seahawks, it's not. Bengals are in for a tough year.
And that is the 105 games, 125, the big games here.
Our
favorite times to start. Giants and Cowboys at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Go to the game, $45. 7-point favorites is the Cowboys. Now with Zeke, however much he comes into play, I don't think it matters. I think Cowboys walk away with this one easily.
I agree, unfortunately, 100%.
Lions taking on the Cardinals here at home. Detroit, 2-point favorites. Disrespecting Kyler Murray in the Big Red Sea. But I like the Cardinals winning.
Yep, I'm a homer on this one. I'm going Cardinals. In Cliff Kingsbury we trust. We have no idea what's going to happen. We have no idea how the offense is going to look. We have no idea how the defense is going to look. We basically have no clue about anything.
We don't know, but we know we like them more than we like those stupid Lions.
Yeah, so we're going with the Cardinals to... I'm expecting to walk out surprised this weekend, and I don't have high expectations. Cardinals.
49ers taking on the Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. The Bruce Arians era begins at 1:25. That's kind of a weird start time for the Buccaneers, I feel like, at 1:25 there, because don't you usually put the marquee games? Like,
yes.
Yeah, that's a weird start time.
Maybe the Niners are the reason they bumped it up. I don't know.
Niners taking on BA again. Hey, there you go. Right now, the line, it's even money, baby. So flip a coin. Who you liking?
I'm going Buccaneers.
I'm taking Jimmy G. It's 1:25 start. They're right on schedule. Buccaneers gonna be starting late over there. So what's that? 3 hours. So 4:30.
Yeah,
you gonna play at 4:30.
I think Arians is going to sneak this one out. He's familiar with the Niners. He knows how they play. He's been up against them the whole time for several times.
Completely different team, Steve-O.
He knows how it is, man.
Sunday night football, big matchup.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Steelers and the Patriots in Foxborough at Gillette Stadium. The Patriots 5.5-point faves.
I'm gonna go with the upset here with the Steelers.
Let's see here. What Brady won the Super Bowl last year. Opening game, Sunday night football. I would lean
Do they give them their
Steelers.
Rings? Do they give them the rings?
Yeah, I think they give them the rings, right? This and usually Banner Day, it's never a good day for the Patriots, especially at nighttime. But I like the Patriots winning this one, just because I don't think the Steelers have that unnamed running back to run all over them. So give me the Steelers, or give me the Patriots.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, the Steelers, like I said, they've been good with all those headaches and drama in there, and that's gone now. So I'm thinking maybe they'll shock the Patriots here at the beginning. First game of the year, you never know what's going to happen.
But it's still Brady versus Ben, and well, Ben, you're Brady's bitch. So Monday Night Football, we have 2 games. First one going to be at 4:10 our time. Texans playing the Saints in New Orleans, where New Orleans is 7-point favorites over the Texans.
Ouch.
Yeah, a former playoff team.
Right.
Saints, the 7 there.
Yeah, Saints are winning this, and they're going to beat the spread too.
Yeah, I like the Saints to win this game as well. Those first Monday night games are really weird. Then you got the Broncos and Raiders. We're going to be playing on the dirt, baby. Give me the Raiders on that even line.
Dang, Hard Knocks sells Jason on the Raiders.
Hard Knocks has sold me. John Gruden's going to punch him in the face.
I go around and round about new head coaches and how I don't like them in their first games and whatnot, but I'm going with the Broncos on this one.
You got a new quarterback there, man.
Yes.
New quarterback with Flack.
In Flacco, I trust.
In Flacco, you trust for at least week 1. So there you go. That's our NFL preview for the 2019 season. Thanks for listening. If you still are listening to the picks, I know we have a couple fans out there wondering who they should pick. Matt Woods, He is wondering who he should pick in his weekly spread. So, Matt, thanks for listening.
So who's your pick for suicide pick for this week?
Suicide pick?
'Cause the obvious one is Seahawks-Bengals, right? Go with the Seahawks on that one, but then you're losing a good team for later on in the year. So
Are we doing suicide pick 'em this week? I
I'm
don't
just
think
throwing it
we're. I
out
don't think we're
there.
doing suicide
I'm
pick
just
'em. You put
throwing
me
it
on
out
the spot there. I'm not in a suicide league. I'd go with the Jets.
Jets over the Bills?
Yeah.
Dang. All right.
I like to roll dirty if I had it.
All right.
So real quick, getting the Super Bowl teams in there. Who do you like for the Super Bowl?
Yeah, you're gonna go Cowboys.
Cowboys, Patriots, baby, America's teams.
Really? Oh, I don't even think the Patriots. Oh no, I think Kansas City gets there this year in the AFC. They should have made it last year. Learning experience, stay on sides, and they would have been there.
I just can't bet against Tom Brady, and I hate saying that. I just can't bet against him.
I know,
I
but
hate it.
I don't disagree, but I'm
They
doing
get to
it.
AFC title games, they win AFC title games, they win Super Bowls, they're in Super Bowls. I just can't say it. I just can't go get Brady.
You act like they do it constantly.
They do.
No, they don't actually.
The Patriots, the Browns, and Buccaneers, the only three teams not to play in the wild card round of the playoffs since 2010. We know why. The Buccaneers and Browns haven't. The Patriots haven't because they're that good. They always skip the wild card round.
I mean, they've won their division 17 of the last 19 years. And how many Super Bowl wins do they have?
Well, they have a lot.
How many times? But my point is they miss it more than they make it. Is my point. But I agree with you on that. Anyway, I digress.
You digress.
So who do you have in the AFC?
I got Patriots.
Oh, that's right.
Patriots, Cowboys. America's teams, baby.
Oh my goodness. I actually got.
And that means the Patriots will lose the Super Bowl because he cannot beat NFC East teams in the Super Bowl.
I actually have
proven.
Kansas City and the Saints.
The Saints.
I think all the bad voodoo on the Saints is going away. Bad voodoo on the Kansas City Chiefs are going away. And I think we're going to have a pretty exciting Super Bowl.
Well, thanks for listening to our NFL preview. God bless you. God bless troops. And God bless America.